So welcome everyone to the very first Tiki Trail Live of 2021. I'm so excited. We finally have 2020 in the rearview mirror. Although I do have to say, I think there's a bit of a residual 2020 hangover that's still haunting us, but hopefully that'll start to dissipate here as we get into the year a little bit more. Episode 40. Man, I can't believe it. It seems like just a few weeks ago, we were only at episode 20. I don't know where all the time goes. It's amazing. Love the fact that you guys are all back. It was a lot of fun hanging out with those that joined on New Year's Eve. Big thanks to DJ Lilybird and Lono Calls because they hung with us for about actually it's 4+ hours. They just kept going and going and going and going. Playing great music all night. We counted down all 4 of the midnight, the ball drops. Okay, we might have missed one in there, I think, but we did still celebrate it, just a few minutes late. We did still celebrate it though. It was a great time. And so another great episode tonight. Tonight's show's a little bit different. We actually have 3 featured guests that we're going to have tonight. Some really cool people that are doing some really cool stuff. Cool people doing cool stuff. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. And we've got also, as our mixologist, we have Nathan Hazard from the Real McCoy in. So I'm really excited. Real McCoy is one of my favorite rums. I'm really excited to be talking with them. And the drink sounds very interesting. Hopefully you guys were all able to get all the ingredients. Sam had sent that. It's out on Instagram and everywhere else. And it is in the chat. So hopefully you have it. And if you haven't gotten in the ingredients yet, the only thing that might be an issue for you is the Green Chartreuse. That was a bit of a challenge here for some reason this week. Apparently it's like Green Chartreuse Day or something, and everybody had to have it. So mixologist Nathan Hazard with Real McCoy. Our musical guest coming back. Dude, man, you just are a glutton for punishment. Coming back again for the 3rd time. Ukulenny from Oakland, California is going to be playing some tunes for us. And our featured guests, as I talked about, we've got 3 of them tonight. We have the one and only Trader Brandon, who is the author of the Field Guide to Tiki Decorating. And he's done some way cool stuff. If you've ever been to a Trader Sam's Disney bar, he did those. And he's also done some other cool things, Imagineer and all kinds of fun stuff. And he's got some amazing things he's doing right now. And we'll talk to him about all of that when he comes on. We have Tracy Turco, and I had it in my notes from the last time. I'm going to say the Design Diva from the Desert. I believe that was the title. Tracy can throw something at me if I mess that up. She has mid-century modern, really cool mid-century modern stuff in Palm Springs that we're going to be talking about, including a tiki hotel. Sounds way cool. Last but definitely not least, we have a group, Surf Monkey Films. We have Alex Lamb in, and I missed the other one. I know we have somebody else in here. And what's that?
Maxwell.
Maxwell, thank you. I only had Alex's name in there, and you came in as the Dawn of Tiki, which is a project that they're undertaking, a film about Don Beach. So we're going to talk with them about that. So it sounds like it's going to be a really fun night. Way cool. A lot of interesting conversation. And the best way we always get that started off is with a drink in hand. So let me go ahead and bring up our mixologist this evening, Mr. Nathan Hazard. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you tonight?
Doing really well, and especially well since we have Real McCoy in the house.
It's the stuff.
Yeah, I picked up some of the 3. I tried to look, and I have the 5-year in my bar, and I'm like, okay, nice. You called out the 3. All right, I'll pick up the 3 anyways. Twist my arm, make me pick up another bottle of rum. Darn it.
Well, they're super different, and actually kind of a fun, thing to A and B, because you see what a difference aging does, but you also see what a difference filtration does. Because what you have is the same juice, 3 years aged and 5 years aged. With the 5-year, we don't do anything to it. It's perfect as is. With the 3-year, we run it through charcoal once just to give it kind of a straw color. So you can tell it's aged, but what that does is it also strips out some of those wood aging, the tannins and linens from the barrel, and you get a fresher expression of the fermentation. So you get, I think, a more pure, raw material experience. You're getting some of those fruity notes, and I get toasted coconut, a little banana, and that's coming from the fermentation. I think with the 5-year, you're getting a hefty amount of barrel, and that makes it more bourbon-like, right? These are bourbon barrels, so it's it's a little more robust, and it has some nice elbows to it. That's kind of what I call it when a spirit kind of makes itself known. It's like a pleasant warmth. So they're really super different spirits, even though they are, at their essence, the same thing to begin with. So the 3-year is great for cocktails. It's perfect for a cocktail like what we're doing tonight. It's great for daiquiris, mojitos. But because our rums don't have sugar, they don't have flavors or anything added, they're super dry. So you can almost even do vodka stuff with our 3-year. You can put it in a Bloody Mary, as crazy as that sounds, or make a martini with it. And it's very pleasing, so if you're that much of a rummy, try subbing it in for some other cocktails and see what you think and experiment.
So you said that for the 3-year, you take that and you run it through a charcoal to filter it a bit.
Yeah, so the 3-year sees one pass through charcoal filtration.
5-year stays in the barrel. That doesn't come out. You don't take 3-year and then age it 2 more years, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the 5-year sees no filtration. So that's sitting in the barrel the whole time. The color that you see in the 5-year, that is the color of a 5-year aging. Something to note too about tropical aging though, and we're coming from Barbados, Foursquare Distillery. And everything in Barbados or at Foursquare is aging in open air rick houses. So it's just really a canopy, and you have those beautiful coastal trade winds coming through, really kind of regulating the airflow really beautifully. So there's no need, like in Kentucky or Scotland, to change the location of the barrels or flip them around. Everything stays as is. There's beautiful trade winds coming through, and it's really temperate all year long. It's 80 degrees all day, 60 degrees at night. It's super humid. So what you almost get is it's almost like accelerated aging. And the way we know that is by evaporation. Angel share is what that's commonly called, right? It's the amount of spirit that disappears from the barrel when it's aging. And if you're in Kentucky, you're losing 3 to 4% every year. If you're in Scotland, maybe 2%, 3%, because you have seasons. Sometimes it's cooler and less evaporates. But again, then you're in the tropics. You're in the Caribbean, and it's the same all year round. You're by the equator, and it's always hot, it's always humid. So we see 7 to 8%, sometimes even 9% evaporation per year. And if you think about that, just visually in a barrel, you take out almost 10% per year, and then you look at our age statements. We're losing a lot. And so we bottle a 12-year, even a 14-year limited edition. With that, just kind of think about how much we're losing. It's why it tastes so good. It's almost like you're getting more barrel for your buck in a way, but it comes at a price.
Well, I know if I would have been a real trooper, I would have picked up the 12 and 14 because I had both of them in my hands along with the 3.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be a little less greedy. So what's the flavor profile when you go from 5 to 12 and then 12 to 14? Yeah.
Well, so there's a couple of things out there. Our main lineup, our core lineup, is our 3-year, the 5-year, and then our 12-year. And those are all at 80 proof. Now we do some special limited editions, and the 14 is one of them. So if you see that, grab it, because that was last year's limited. When it's gone, it's gone. We only did 6,000 bottles of that for the world. The 14 year is gorgeous. The thing about some of our limiteds though, one, we bottle them at a higher proof. So they're at 92 proof for the most part. And then sometimes there's different barrels involved. So there might be a little bit of virgin oak as well as bourbon. Some of our older limiteds would also have, Madeira cask. And then the 12-year could have been a couple of things that you saw at the store, because our new limited edition for this year, 2020, was what we're calling the Prohibition Tradition. It's something that people have been asking us for since the beginning, which was 100 proof. And so we finally did 100 proof Real McCoy, and that's the one. It has a 12 on it because it is 12 years, but that one is at 100 proof, and that is our limited. That I think is one of the best things that's come out of Foursquare, which I know are big words, but really, really delicious juice. 100 proof is just such a great level to enjoy a spirit or to mix with, and that's definitely one to seek out because it's fantastic, and when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, so now I'm going to have to go back to High Times tomorrow because I had that in my hand.
And there are worse places you could go back to than High Times.
Oh, I was so excited. I got out of there for like $40 today.
No, that doesn't happen.
This is the lowest I've ever gotten out of here with. The woman's like, really? Congratulations.
Yeah, that's good work.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and fire up a cocktail here.
Yeah, let's do it. So this is a cocktail that I developed. I moved up to the San Bernardino Mountains in March, and I've been kind of really embracing the alpine nature of the place, and was asked to submit a cocktail to the website punchdrink.com. They one of their editors was writing a book called Easy Tiki, and I met her fittingly at False Idol in San Diego at the bar, and she was talking about this book and the concept and asked if I had anything that might work for that. And this was something I was playing around with anyway, because again, embracing the alpine, I'm loving all of, I've always loved Amari, but I'm really digging particularly, alpine herbal liqueurs like Chartreuse. So it just seemed really fitting to kind of play with a tiki concept, but to introduce a little bit of what I've become really passionate about, and then also try to keep it simple. So when you ask for something that people can make at home, you're right, the Chartreuse can be difficult to find, but it is something worth having in your home because Chartreuse can be a little addictive. Once you kind of fall in love with Chartreuse, it's easy to really fall in love with Chartreuse. So.
I didn't fall too much in love with it because this was I have 3 of these bottles. That's all that they had.
Oh man, I noticed the holiday season kind of clear a lot of people out. And I think also this year's been interesting because of COVID and quarantine. A lot of people are making cocktails at home, of course, and
no, they're not. No.
Well, but it's been fascinating to see what people are buying, because people who maybe would have come into a shop, once every other month to buy a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of rum, they're now coming in to buy Chartreuse, Coqui Americano, Creme de Violette, and it's really interesting because people are like, damn, like I can't go to the bar. I need to look up the recipe and I need to make it myself. And I'm not just talking about, people like us, I assume, people who are enthusiasts, but people who've never made a cocktail before. I do some time here, here at Barkeeper, and it's been a really interesting thing to see what people are buying and how they're kind of being forced to be a little more savvy and to ask more questions and to do some stuff themselves. So I think that's part of it with Chartreuse. There must have been a couple articles about it or something, because it kind of sold out all over the place. But hopefully you did get some if you were planning to make the drink. You can also substitute it with, not that you necessarily have this laying around, but Genepi is another French alpine herbal liqueur. It can be less expensive, which is one reason I mention it. Chartreuse will set you back a penny. Also look for the small sizes. They do half size and even flask size bottles, but those are even harder to find. But that makes it more affordable. And Genepi is definitely quite a bit less expensive, probably half as much for a 750 milliliter bottle like this. And it will work similarly in the cocktail. Also, if you want to do something else with this bottle, this sounds crazy. It's so good in hot chocolate, like a good hot chocolate, not even a bad hot chocolate, with a shot of Chartreuse in it is like, just try it. It's amazing. Next time you're like really cold, make that. It's going to be really good. Also a bijou, which is kind of a martini variation with a little bit of Chartreuse, is phenomenal. Because Chartreuse is so herbal and kind of bracing, it's like a beautiful palate cleanser. It's also quite high in proof, and it has a good amount of sweetness too. So also just drink it on its own. Delicious. But yes, it is. It's an interesting ingredient. And the first time I ever had a Chartreuse Swizzle, which I feel like is a modern tiki classic, I just really fell in love with it. So this is really just a variation on the Chartreuse Swizzle. It's just slightly different because of the rum, because of the orgeat. So it's just a little variation. But let's go ahead and make it. I'm babbling.
All right.
So if you're joining us in making this cocktail, first thing you're going to need is a glass, like a tall chimney, zombie, what have you. I'm going to use this just because I love it. We had this crazy set at Barkeeper, and I'm sorry, I don't know how no one has bought it yet. It's like this tray with this like flower ice bucket, like it's all metal and glass. It's gorgeous.
Wow, that is like total mid-century. That's awesome.
Someone come buy it. So I don't have to. So I'm gonna use that glass, and that's a good size because if you have a swizzle stick, and now this is like a classic Caribbean swizzle stick. It actually is, a stem from a bush that is native in the Caribbean, where it is cut, to be this little with the spokes. And this is what you would use.
Brenda has one.
Nice. It's like feel like Harry Potter. So this is really nice. They're really lightweight. They can be fragile. So I like ones, if you're going to buy one, I like ones that have a pretty sturdy branch. Some of them come really, really thin. And if it's stubby, that's okay too. The main thing is you want to make sure it's going to fit in the glass you're going to use it for. So that's why I picked this slightly wider glass. Some zombie glasses are pretty narrow, as we know. So just think about that if you're going to use a real swizzle stick. You can also use a spoon, use a bar spoon. But hopefully something that is round so you can very comfortably do this, because that's the motion we're going to be doing. It's kind of you're kind of praying to the tiki gods, and then you're going to be kind of warming your hands, over the fire, and that's going to be the motion for the swizzle. So find something you can do that with. The nice thing about it, though, is this is what you need. You don't need mixing tins. You don't need strainers. You don't need mixing glasses. It's a very, very simple drink. And the idea of a swizzle, I'm sure, starts from tea punch in Martinique. That's kind of the drink of the island with their native rum agricole. And the main thing, it's just lime juice and rum, and you kind of just swizzle it with a little sugar. And that's kind of that's the first place I really noticed swizzles coming into play. But they've become a staple of the tiki bar. If you don't have any of these things, you can also make this drink in a blender. Just build it in your blender and then give it just a quick whiz. Or if you have like an immersion blender or a Hamilton, even better. But the idea is you just want to do a nice quick stir that's going to nicely chill the cocktail. A key component of that, though, is crushed ice. So a little ambitious, probably even more ambitious than the Green Chartreuse, but this is a crushed ice cocktail. So again, if you have a fridge that does crushed ice for this at home, I'm sure that's fine. I'm actually going to use a Lewis bag and a mallet just to kind of go through that process, because why not torture myself for your amusement? This is a canvas bag, a Lewis bag, that you will put your ice in and then give it a good pound with the mallet on a hard surface. I'm going to go down to the floor for that, and make some crushed ice that way. So make sure you have everything lined up. Have your rum, have your chartreuse, have your orgeat syrup. We're going to use beautiful orgeat syrup, and some lime juice and some pineapple juice. I'm going to go ahead and start getting my ice ready. And if you are following along, go for it. However you want to crush your ice, that's another thing you can do in your blender if you need to, or with a muddler in a pint glass or a shaker tin. There's a lot of ways to crush your ice, but
I'm going to use my opal ice because I have the little tiny ice cubes.
Oh, you show off.
Yes, I am.
Hey, with that investment, you earned it. Show it off.
Exactly.
One day. So I'm gonna go down to the floor because otherwise it's gonna be really loud and annoying on that bar here.
Oh man, I want to see you go full 4 on that ice.
Yeah, let's see if I can do it up here. Not too bad. Yeah, it's kind of too bad. I'm not good.
Actually, the mic was muffling a lot of it, so it wasn't too bad for us.
Sounding pretty good. It starts to sound different when it's getting fine. Also, if you're somewhere where it's snowing, just go outside and take a scoop,
Yeah. I moved away from where it snows.
Actually, for the photo that you guys circulated, that was just in my backyard. I was like, I'm just gonna throw this out in the snow, and Throw a little snow on top. That'll work.
Nice.
All right. So
yeah, that's the one thing.
Pretty good crushed ice here. It's not like opal or anything, but all right. So actually let's before, okay, now get your ice ready, but let's go ahead and put everything in the glass first. So take your glass and get your measuring device, your jigger, or whatever you are using. And let's start with the rum. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of Real McCoy 3-year Barbados rum. Feel free to pour yourself a little sip on the side. It's 1.5 ounces. And then let's do 1 ounce of pineapple juice. Fresh is always lovely, but honestly, I'm not against just a little Dole or like the Trader Joe's in the can. I feel like a can makes all the difference though. Pineapple juice in plastic just doesn't work. And something about that creeps me out because of the acid. I feel like it's leaching plastic or something weird. But I find that the canned stuff holds up pretty well. We're gonna do 1 ounce of that, I believe was my measurement. And then we're going to do chartreuse. So with this, let's do 3/4 of an ounce. Delicious. Yum.
I have these in 50 milliliter bottles.
Wait, you have a 50 ml of chartreuse?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that works.
A little tiny airplane bottle.
That is definitely the most affordable way to do it. Tell you what. And then let's do 1/2 ounce of your orgeat. I'm using Small Hand Foods. I love Liquid Alchemist as well, which is made here in Los Angeles. Really fantastic stuff. The main difference I find, I feel like Liquid Alchemist has the most true almond flavor. It's really like marzipan-y, rich and almondy. Small Hand, made in the Bay Area, also a fantastic product. I get a little more of the orange flower water, which is a small addition in classic orgeat. And so this one I find is a little lighter and a little more floral. But I always encourage everyone to try them all, just get a different one each time and then figure out what you love. And of course, try making your own. It's one of my favorite things to do. Pain in the butt, but worth it because you're so proud of it. My favorite thing that I really want to trademark and make, although I never will, is something I made for my old pop-up called the Coconut Club in LA, which is a tiki underground supper club. I did an orgeat I did an ambrosia salad cocktail, and the orgeat I made for it, I called Fancy Mixed Nuts Orgeat. So I used all of those fancy nuts you would get in like a bridge mix kind of, and made an orgeat with all of those. So it was, macadamia nuts, hazelnuts, pistachio, pecan. It was just so luxurious and really delicious. So if you ever get a wild hair, just mix all the nuts together and make a crazy orgeat. It's delicious. All right, last thing we need is our lime juice. So just a quick 1/2 ounce of lime. I'm always all about fresh with lime. There's really no other way. And I like to squeeze it to order.
Yeah, I always guess wrong on you guys. Some of you like to squeeze it on order. Some like to have it all pre-made.
Well, when you're doing a demo, it's nice to have it pre-made, but
I had mine pre-made today.
Y'all can watch me squeeze 1/2 of a lime, All right, so now throw in some of your crushed ice. You don't want it to be too full, but you want to get it enough to chill it. But you want to leave room, especially if you're using one of these bad boys, you want to leave room so you can kind of get it in. And you just kind of want to like nudge it down. And then it's the fun part. Now you're just going to start swizzling. So like here's the motion again, just really simple. Just roll it between your hands and get going kind of fast. And then kind of do like an up and down motion because you want to just fully chill. And what you're really watching for is the condensation on the outside of glass. You want that to get really, really foggy and really chilled, okay? So give it I think everyone should unmute for this if you're doing it, because why not?
We want to hear the sounds, man. Sounds of a bar.
Run away.
We're not able to go into bars, so we need to hear the sounds of a bar.
Yeah, right. The sound of the bar. Heartbreaking. mean, you can go as long as you want to, but keep that, the colder the better, honestly, because this is the dilution. You know, with cocktails, I always say that one of the most important ingredients is always the water, and it's something we don't really think about, you know, dilution. And I think I first really realized that in making punches, right? When you make a big batch of punch, usually it's called for water, or in some cases you would use like tea in the place of the water, but you need to dilute your cocktail, right? If you add a bunch of sour and a bunch of sweet and a bunch of strong, you need that weak. You need something to bring it down. And water is so important. So again, like a crushed ice cocktail, it will continue to dilute while it's sitting. So you don't always have to over mix it because of that. But with this, you want to give it a good swizzle because you're chilling it and you're diluting it. All right, I think that's probably good for mine. And then top it off with more crushed ice. Ooh, that's some good frosty stuff there. Delightful. And then if you followed instructions, which I didn't, you would have your pineapple. I like to just cut a spear and then pull off one of the leaves and kind of do a little dink. I didn't get a pineapple because my rule with COVID is I will never go to the store for one thing. So I didn't go for that one thing. But I do have, what did I bring? Oh, I have an umbrella. So I'm gonna do an umbrella and I'm gonna do a lime. But give yourself a little garnish. You've earned it. And then with this, I like also to give kind of the snow-capped vibe, I like to do a little powdered sugar. So I think confectioner sugar is a really elegant way to garnish a drink. Especially if you ever make like a cobbler, like a sherry cobbler, another beautiful crushed ice drink, almost like a julep, but with sherry, and you'd muddle fruit in there. And then you just put like crushed ice on top with a couple berries and like some mint. And then honestly, the magic of a little bit of powdered sugar and like nutmeg on anything, as we know, tiki people, delightful. But yeah, and just do a little snowy sprinkle.
I like it.
And then we have a little Après-Ski Swizzle.
Have our yeah. So now I've got to ask, as I take my photo here. So how long have you been behind the bar?
Well, that's a funny question because my trajectory has not been like most. I was a professional in the music industry when I came to LA for about 10 years and started cocktailing on the side. I started a podcast about home entertaining, creative home entertaining, and that then morphed into kind of like a pop-up and kind of event-based company. That allowed me to kind of move out of music and focus on what I wanted to do, which was cocktails. And that's when the Coconut Club was born. So we ran the Coconut Club in various locations around LA for about 4 years before finally kind of, realizing we weren't going to turn it into a brick and mortar tiki bar. It just, at a certain point, pop-ups ceased to, they don't really make a lot of money. It's so expensive to pop up events that, you tend to kind of break even. And so there was a point at which we like heartbreakingly kind of just like disbanded, stopped the Coconut Club. But that's around the time that I started doing brand work with, I did developed a rum brand called the Rum Society, and then ended up working with the Real McCoy. So it's been kind of funny because I've never really been a full-time bartender aside from doing the Coconut Club for about 4 years. But most people who work with brands as I do, they've been veteran bartenders. That's not really been my experience. But, what I think I bring to it is, kind of seeing all different sides of it. I've worked in hospitality a lot in my younger adult life. I did a little bartending, but, I've not been like a longtime tiki bartender, craft cocktail mixologist. It's more been kind of this fun hobby that turned into a career. And that's led to other great things. I helped open a rum bar in Panama City, in Panama, called Pedro Mandinga. If you're ever down there, it's fantastic. Check it out. The cocktails are wonderful. And then we opened a second one of those in Bogota, Colombia, about a year later. And then I just helped open in a hotel in Italy doing their cocktail program. So I've had some really cool experiences, but it's just not been kind of the average trajectory.
Well, nice. And whatever brought you to this cocktail this evening is really nice. So
It's good, no? You like?
yeah. Do we have everybody make their cocktail, raise up the glass, have a cocktail? I know, come on, I know you guys are drinkers. Or is this dry January for everybody? Definitely not for me.
Good luck.
Oh man, that is really tasty. That is really tasty. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try that with the 5-year next. You know, just to see how it works and see what the difference is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Purely scientific reasoning.
Purely.
Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight, Nathan. I forgot to mention, as you guys all know, we've got the Tiki Comer app. We've got a card for the Real McCoy. That is the code for that is in the chat. We also have one for the drink tonight. So a double bonus there. You'll have the drink in the chat as well. So make sure to pick up those cards because the drink card has the cocktail recipe on it. And Nathan,
wonderful.
The night that you came across this, or that was made for you, or you made it for yourself, I guess is what we should say. But thank you for joining us tonight, Nathan. This was awesome. Definitely love having you guys on. And dang it, now I've got to go back down to High Time tomorrow and see if I can get out of there with just buying that one bottle. It'll never happen, but you know, I'll give it a shot.
Well, awesome. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All right, so thank you. And now next we are going to go to our musical guests. So let me find Ukulenny. I see him right here. How are you doing there, sir?
Woo! Yeah. It is a new year. Just getting back into it, man. It's kind of crazy. It's like, I feel like even now that we're at home, I recognize this more and more. But I really just want to hibernate from about December to probably mid-April. So
yeah,
I'm awake. Here I am.
Yeah.
Yes, Happy New Year.
I was really ready. We had our last major workshop effort that I had to manage about mid-December.
Yeah.
And it's like there was a wall I hit. And I'm still not past that wall, but I have to go back into the well, not into the office, but I have to go back to work this week.
Yeah.
I'm
Gotta get on with it.
Yeah. Hibernating.
No, but yeah, thanks for having me on here. It's nice to, like you said, I was a glutton for punishment, but it's not punishment hanging out with you guys. It's so awesome, and definitely I'm grateful because this is kind of my wake up call too. Like, I get to kick off the year with a little performing for y'all, and I'm so excited to do it.
Yeah, we're happy for that. So I'm going to give you all the stage here and play us a couple of tunes while we enjoy our cocktail.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out Nathan. I didn't even realize, but I guess Nathan was wearing an Oakland shout out to the Kona Club, which I haven't even been yet. So I gotta go, especially when it's open, man. Yeah, man.
Good club. Real men drink chi-chis.
I know. I'm looking at pictures over here of the place, and I'm like, I gotta go. I'm used to like Forbidden Island, and I play at Pagan Idol over here in the Bay Area. But man, right in my backyard, right there in Piedmont. So I gotta check it out. I also heard another shout out to Trader Sam's over in Disneyland. Man, you're making me so sad because every January we have the big NAMM show, and we're always over there, and usually we stay at the Disney Hotel. Just like tears running down my cheek a little bit. I miss you, Trader Sam's. So excited to have Trader Brandon up here. All right, I'm gonna play you. Man, I've been toiling all day with what song to play for you guys, and I think I'm gonna come down to this. This is a little Common King song called "Alcoholic," and I figure if we always start with a cocktail, might as well have something to fit the mood. A little song by the Common Kings. A little slow New Year's, get you back into the vibe. Chaser to my crown royal, body like a Coke bottle. And with every drink, I can't help but think how smooth you go down, yeah. Baby girl, I love your flavor. You're the rock star after that Jaeger. Southern comfort when I need to be held. So in love with you, girl, 'cause I'm so drunk off your love, girl, I'm buzzing. And I can't get enough of your loving, sitting you down, girl. I love it, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic. You're the juice that makes my knees weak. My Grey Goose, baby, you complete the mixed drink. My Patron, I'm taking shots of you. So into you, you're my Malibu. My passion for you is like my Alizé. Baby, it turns blue when you go away. So in love with you, girl, so thirsty. Ooh, ooh, 'cause I'm so drunk off your love, girl, I'm buzzing. And I can't get enough of your loving, sitting you down, girl. I love it, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic. Drink up, everybody. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic. Your love is the only one I'm tasting. Baby girl, you're so intoxicating. So I'ma keep sipping on your love. Girl, I've never been so drunk of your love. Girl, I'm buzzing. And I can't get enough of your loving. Sitting you down, girl. I love it, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic.
Okay, I think I make that the Tiki Trail theme song. That's to all the people that join me on this show. You're the reason I'm an alcoholic.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, add it to your Spotify playlist this year. A little Common King. Such a great song, and I think very appropriate for the pandemic. I think we all definitely emptied out the liquor cabinets a couple of times this season. All right, I think I'm gonna play one more for you. What do you think, Jeff? Should I play something fast or something slow? I was liking the groove that everybody was having on the Zoom, but I'm seeing the thumbs up to go a little faster, a little bit more.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, since I got the fireworks in the background, and I guess somebody knocked my green screen over, and now I have like half of a. Let me go fix that really quick. I hear voices in the background. The kids are here to play. Yeah, is this place really 21 and up?
Oh, somebody's fixing your green screen for you.
There we go. I got it.
Okay, so I got to ask though before you get into the next song, because I know you did this before. So it's like you start a couple of notes, a couple of tunes, a couple of chords, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you're not playing that instrument anymore.
Right.
Your style here, what you do.
Yeah. Why don't I just give you a little taste of it? Because basically I have my foot pedals below, and guys, I would show you, but I'm not wearing any pants, so I'm just gonna leave it up here. But
that's awfully little foot pedal you have.
Hey, It's a kid's show. I'm recording everything with my feet. So I have a pedal and I just lay, one layer after the other. So I'll give you a little snippet of a song, a bonus song here. Not the song I'm going to play next, but I can start with the ukulele and just play. Hip, hip. And see, hands free. I don't have to do anything anymore. And then I got this, which is really confusing because it looks like an ukulele, but it's actually an ukulele bass, like this. And if you're on your iPhone, I'm sorry, you probably can't hear that. You got to get up close, but it's below. And then the third part, of course, we got to have the drums. So then I just add in the drums by pressing this button right here. And I go hip, hip. When you're on a holiday, you can't find the words to say. All the things that come to you, and I wanna feel it too. On an island in the sun, we'll be playing and having fun. And it makes me feel so fine, I can't control my brain. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. And yeah, that's it. So that's my band welcoming Lenny on drums and bass.
That is freaking impressive, man. I mean, to be able to record that with the feet and have to go and bring it all in, and you're doing it all as a song, all in concert.
Yeah, it's super fun, and it took me a while to figure out exactly how to do it, but this loop pedal thing, which you might have seen other artists do, like, it really is an instrument of its own. So it's really fun to pick up and play around with. So I encourage everybody to pick up an instrument this year. And a good time to shout out that I do regular jams too. So if you want to follow me, and we do Fridays at 12 p.m., during your lunch break, 12 p.m. Pacific, I do a jam on Facebook Live. So that's the best one to tune into for more tunes. But I want to play you this one to get you moving over here, get you burning some calories. How about a little Prince? I gotta check if that's on. Okay. Don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. I just need your body, baby, yeah, from dusk till dawn. You don't need experience to turn me out. You just leave it all up to me. I'm gonna show you what it's all about. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. You got to not talk dirty, baby, if you wanna impress me. You can't be too flirty, mama. I know how to undress me. I wanna be your fantasy, and you can be mine. You just leave it all up to me. We can have a good time. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular side I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Dance break, everybody. rule my world. I said they rule my world. Act your age, mama, not your shoe size. Maybe we could do the twirl. You don't have to watch Dynasty to have an attitude. You just leave it all up to me. My love will be your food. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular side. I'm more compatible with. I just feel your extra time and your kiss. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Thank you so much. Check me out on the
awesome, brother. So
Thank you.
In the chat, we had people say that when they hear that song, Dorian thinks of Julia Roberts in the bathtub. I'm not even. And
You never saw Pretty Woman?
yeah, I did, but I just couldn't resist that little that sound in there.
Think about whatever you want to think about during that song.
Ron thinks of Tom Jones.
I saw that. I got to do the
Now
dance
we all
too.
are going to think of Ukulenny.
Hey, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Next time you put out that tune, just think about me wiping my hair and my headphones out of my face right there.
Damn, it's so hard. No, that is awesome. Love your stuff, man.
Thank you. It's an honor to be on here, and yeah, I hope I can check some of you guys out this year.
I see some little eyes.
Oh yeah, there we go. She wants to say goodbye.
Yeah, she was on the first time with you.
Yeah, that's right. This is Aurelia, and I know this is 21 and up, but Aurelia wants to say goodbye in tradition. You want to say bye to everybody?
Bye.
All right, we'll see you on the interwebs. All right, y'all have a good night now.
All right, thanks, dude. All right, so let's move into our guests for this evening. As I said, we got some cool peeps, and we're going to start off with, there he is, Mr. Trader Brandon. If you want to go ahead and unmute, I'm going to bring you up front and center. And I'll put myself in just for a little bit, because I find otherwise it looks like there's just this disembodied voice that's asking questions for somebody that's on camera.
I was going to say, and I have enough of that during the day anyhow in my head, I feel like, so it's good to have a face with it.
Well, I'm interested to hear about these voices that you hear. So you are a really cool person, but I'm mad at you because
it's a great way to start this, Jeff. That's a great way.
Yeah,
great way.
Well, I had to lay this out, put it out there right after. After I finished up putting the tacky tiki together, converting a garage into a tiki bar, I finished it.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Well, stupid me. I thought I was finished. Little did I learn they're never finished.
No, you never finished.
I then come across, wait, there's a book called Field Guide to Tiki Decorating. You're supposed to start with a theme. Son of a bitch.
You're supposed to think about this? Yeah, apparently. That's what I always did. But yeah, that kind of got us started on the whole traderbrandon.com and making that a brand, I guess. But it still does pretty well. I still get people that we still have them on the website, and people buy them and they use them and they send me pictures and ask me questions all the time, and it's great.
No, it's an absolutely great book. And what I also love is I saw you at Tiki Oasis. I guess it would have been 2 years ago now, since we did
Arizona or San Diego?
San Diego.
Okay.
And you and Typhoon Tommy did a session on aging, distressing license plates.
License plates, yeah. We beat the heck out of some license plates for an hour. It was very loud and a lot of fun, yeah.
So I love the fact that you not only talk about building out the bar with a theme, but you actually give some guidance on how to do some of this stuff.
Yeah, well, we certainly try. I mean, I'm still learning every day. I know he is. It's nobody knows it all. So it's and all we want to be is a kickoff point to something else too. So it's always good to have that. You know, we think of some things, but hopefully you can use those techniques for other things and just get you thinking.
Now, you know, Bamboo Ben is known for his prolific. He does a lot of these bars around the
Sure,
country.
sure.
I would think you would own the title of the most visited tiki bars in the world.
It's ridiculous when you say it, but you're probably right. Like, I have had to think about that before and go, that's weird. Like that's, you know, the amount of people that not this past year, but the amount of people that go through a Trader Sam's, and this 2021 is our 10th anniversary in Anaheim of the original Enchanted Tiki Bar, and yeah, the amount of people that move through there is insane.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite bars. Well, hell, I was gonna say one of my favorite bars in Orange County, but that's kind of stupid because we have two. Yeah.
Fair, fair. No, there's like three. You got Sam's, you got Strong Water, you got the Hammer Bar over at the
Oh wait, no, there is another one. There is another one in Tustin, and the name just skipped right out of my head. So there are three.
Stowaway.
Oh wait, there we go. Yes.
There we go.
So there are three.
And yeah, the Hammer Bar at the packing plant is great too. They have some great drinks, and they have their own mug, so you got to count them. They got their own tiki mug.
All right. All right. So tell us about the history of Trader Brandon, how
Oh
he
dear.
came to be, and then I definitely want to get into some Trader Sam stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up here in Florida, going to theme parks, going to Disney World, going to Universal when I was a kid, during that golden age of Epcot Center, and you know when the parks were really what everybody now dreams they could have gotten to experience. So I'm pretty lucky with all of that. But yeah, just grew up going to parks, and then grew up then doing acting and theater and movies, and was a child actor for many years. That took me out to California and stayed out there from 95 to 2016 or so. Did a bunch of other work out there, did a bunch of movies. Then, as a child actor does, you hit the age where you are too old to play a kid, but you're too young to play an adult. So you don't work for like 10 years. Um, and then I found other ways to keep myself occupied. I started learning special effects makeup. I started learning how to edit. I wrote, I directed some music videos and some documentaries and stuff during that time. And then got to know some people over at Disney Imagineering. Got to know guys like Tony Baxter and some really great people over there. And right place, right time, blessing of timing, and on my side, and got a temporary position there that lasted 8 years.
Wow. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I won't lie. I'm very fortunate. You know, it's one of those things. I mean, I think I know I certainly did. It's in my library here somewhere. But when I was growing up, they had a massive coffee table book on Imagineering, and that was like the Bible. You know, that was I poured over that thing left and right, and to be able to walk those halls and create some great stuff that people can enjoy was will always be a pinch me moment.
So just a happenstance kind of situation.
It was right place, right time. I mean, it really was. The one of my friends there was getting ready to go and show direct the update for Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln at Disneyland, and so he needed someone to take over his his full-time role while he went and did that. And he just kind of, hey, send me your resume. And 2 days later, I was sitting in the model shop having my interview, and I did that for 2 years, working with his group, and then about another 6 years in the prop department, and then that was off and running from there. So no complaints.
That is incredible. So did you have a background in visual arts? Because I mean, obviously you're in acting or performing arts, but what about
I lied my way through all of it. Totally made it up.
Nice.
No, yeah, like you said, movies. I mean, I was always the kid on set that wanted, instead of going on break, I'd go over and see how does that camera work? What's that lens for? What do you do? Oh, what are props? I was always the crazy little kid that hung out with the crew guys. So I had enough of a idea of what to do at least, and then when you have Disney's budgets and the sky's the limit, it kind of becomes a little easier that you go, oh, well, I can do that because yeah, let's try that. And then you take it into meetings and people go, that's a fun idea. We'll let you do that. And then it's great. You're just having a blast.
Yeah, that is really cool. I mean, to work at the epitome of creativity. I mean, that's got to be a fantastic time you
It,
had.
it's nuts. I mean, like I've been watching social media and everything lately. Joe Rohde just retired officially a couple days ago was his last day, and he was our creative director or our creative executive on Pandora that I did with him on here in Animal Kingdom, the Avatar project, and he was a genius and just a great guy. But every day with him was like literally like being in college, and going, I don't have enough paper to take enough notes in these classes. I mean, he knows everything, and then to watch everybody's brains work and to watch all the gears move every day was a trip.
Yeah, I'll bet that had to be incredible. Oh, apparently, yeah, Joe Rohde was Ron's high school art teacher.
Nice,
Oh, yeah,
nice.
man. So obviously, that man had some talent to spawn off other people creating their amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So, so how did you go from there to doing the two Trader Sam's?
I in 2005, 2004, 2005. I'll tell you the full story. I decided I wanted to work at Disneyland. I had never worked at Disneyland, and I thought, well, that'd be fun. Let's do that. Never mind the fact that I lived an hour and a half away. I wanted to work at Disneyland, and specifically, when I say Disneyland, I wanted to work at Jungle Cruise. I didn't really want to. I didn't want to work at Disneyland and drive an hour and a half a day to push a button to send, a car at Mr. Toad. I wanted to do something that I could do.
Yeah,
And as an actor, I was like, I can do something with this. I can bring something to this. So I went over and auditioned, filled out the paperwork, and eventually got Jungle Cruise, which was great. And I did that for a year and a half, and I miss it to this day. I still know every joke. My skipper hat's still sitting right here.
nice.
But so yeah, I did that for about a year and a half, and then when I was at WDI, I had only been in the prop department for maybe 2 weeks, and then they announced that they were going to redo the Disneyland Hotel and put in a tiki bar themed to the Jungle Cruise. That's all it said. That was all the news article said. And I printed it out and I ran it over to my boss and I said, I have to do this. I'm doing this. And he then proceeded to tell me all the reasons that I would not be doing it. One, I had only been there 2 weeks. Nobody knew who the heck I was. Two, it was a very, very small project, even further separated by the fact that it was at the park, even further separated that it was at the hotels. So not our main office was not involved. Not even the Disneyland office wasn't involved. It was the hotel department was doing it. So it was like way not a chance. And I literally was like, I don't care, work it out. I'm doing it. Like, I know nobody, I can promise you nobody here knows Jungle Cruise better than me. If you want a Jungle Cruise bar, I'm doing it. I have to do it. Um, and he, okay, fine. So he paid some people off, I would assume, got me a meeting, and we went in, and it was very different in the beginning. And I kind of said some things that probably made some people go, who's this new kid? But I did a quick Photoshop pass of all four walls, and literally was what's in here, those voices in my head. So I did that and took it back to the meeting, and that's what we built in Anaheim. So I always say that both locations of Sam's are like hanging out in my head. That is exactly what I thought it should look like, and that's what I was lucky enough to get the support of all the higher ups and the executives, and have a great team of people that trusted me to do it. So
That's incredible. So you the volcano, the beautiful picturesque view of the mountain in the bay that all of a sudden turns into a volcano when somebody orders the Mount Krakatoa.
Some of those things were already in place. There was a few things that were in place. Kyle Barnes is a great guy, and he was kind of the other side of my brain with that. He had a lot of great stuff that he was bringing into it. So he and I were really partners in crime and would divide and conquer a lot of that. But with all the decorating and all the props in there and all the items on the walls, I mean, I could tell you a story behind every one of them, where I bought them. You know, I could tell you everything because every prop in there was bought with my my two hands. So yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, when I'm in there, obviously I love the drinks, love hanging out on the stools that go up and down. Um, but I just love, and the theater, the show of it all. Uh,
Sure.
but the attention to detail on the walls is what's just so incredible.
Yeah, yeah. It's each location would take me about a year and a half to buy everything. That's how much stuff is in there. Anaheim has about 1,600 individual items. Here in Orlando, we've got about 1,400. Ukulenny will appreciate that a lot of them came from the Alameda Swap Meet up in the Bay Area. Many trips up to the old Alameda Swap Meet. One of my favorite shows that I would go to, and yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, I like lots of things, but yeah, it was fun to put that all together and then create a story for all of it, and you know, have it make sense, and all the little letters on the notes on the letters and pictures and all that stuff. Just keep adding those layers and layers and layers of detail, and give you something new to look at every time you go in there.
So now, how do we translate that into our home bars? You wrote the book on that, so
Yeah, now yeah, that was a bad, it seemed like a good idea at the time. Now everybody holds that against me. Goes, well, you should, yeah, you wrote the book. Um, you know, I actually, I had a couple friends that were texting me right before I came on, and they're doing their home bar. Um, it's I always think of story first. You know, what's my story? What do I want to do? Even if it's my home bar, even if it's my study here, like you can't really see it, but all of these on my shelves are all old library kind of organization cards. So each one of these shelves are labeled like it's an old, you know, library and everything. So yeah, I always think of story. Trader Sam's is obviously based on the Jungle Cruise. The story in Anaheim is very much Adventureland inspired, 1930s to 1955 when the park opened. But then in Florida, we took it from 55 to 71. So where Anaheim is very sepia toned and black and white and very Adventureland, Orlando is kind of chromacone and you know, colorized photos and all of that, a different era, a little more colorful. Same can be done with home bars. Someone asked me the other day, somebody messaged me on Instagram and said, you know, should I decorate my bar sloppy, should I decorate it organized? And I was like, well, what's your story? Is your story, you know, someone that started off organized, but over the years they just add and add and add, so it gets a little sloppier? Is it always just stuff thrown on the wall? You know, I was like, think about what you want it to be. So it's certainly what we do at Disney and at Universal and all those places. It's got to start with that. So
well, my story of the tacky tiki, I think, kind of comes through in the title, the name of it. My thought was,
which is fine.
I can just throw shit up on the wall, and if it's not straight because I'm not a handyman, it's not straight. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
the tacky tiki. What do you expect?
right. Yeah, no, and that's fine. Like I said, if that's your story, then that's your story, and it works for that. Um, Funny thing about the pictures not being straight, we did that in Trader Sam's, and it took me probably about a month of installation to get the installation crew to stop using a level on every picture. I had to break them of it. I was like, you guys, these are drunk Jungle Cruise skippers and headhunters that are decorating this place, you know, story wise. It can't, no, stop, you know. So we would just eyeball everything. And then I think it finally, when we did our first Christmas overlay in there, I think they finally realized it, because I had Christmas lights that I was stringing around the ceiling, and they'd go around and through the family tree and around the other side. And I got to a point where I pulled it out of the box, and it was just a Christmas vacation size knot of Christmas lights. And I literally just took it and hung it on the wall and then just kept going. So in the corner was this giant just knot of lights. And I was like, this isn't, it's a small world Christmas where everything is pristine. This is jungle Christmas. So it's like, just hang up the knot and move on. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was there's a project I'm working on where I have to distress some wood, and I'm not a handy person. That class I did with you guys on distressing license plates,
Right.
probably the first, well, it is the first art class I've ever taken since I had to take one in high school, right? So I'm out there trying, okay, how do I do this? And I have a really good buddy who does a lot of great woodwork, and he's laying it all out. You got to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And I said, okay, I got it. Now I'm going to do it entirely wrong. So, deal with that. And he goes, okay, I get it, because you want it to look distressed. You want it to look imperfect. So, right. I mean, I'm refinishing. I've threw dirt in it. Just all kinds of stuff just to muck it up. So yeah, I get that.
To make it look different. And, and Disney and Universal both, we work with tons of vendors, and it's great to use a lot of different ones so that you get different looks, so you all the things you have made don't look exactly the same because they came from the same guy. You want to spread that wealth out a little bit, and then like you said, learn how to do it right, and then go completely the other way, because it should look like beat up old wood.
Right, exactly. So how would you suggest somebody, so you're sitting in a space, because we have a few people that watch the show. They're saying we're going to build out our bar or want to renovate. We have a lot of people who have some kick-ass bars.
There's tons. Yeah, they're amazing.
Brenda, Carbon Tiki. Yeah, they've got some. Yeah, I won't even show my bar ever because they showed theirs a couple of nights. I'm like, okay, fine. So, so how would you suggest somebody, just a regular Joe Schmo, hasn't done all the artistic stuff, hasn't designed 2 Trader Sam's, the most traveled tiki bars in the world, sitting there and says, okay, I want to build a tiki bar. How should they start germinating that?
Immediately I go, well, you want to use the shipwreck storyline, because then everything is supposed to look like crap. Perfect. Go with that. Yeah, I mean, and then if you aren't a craftsman, if you aren't good with your hand, buy stuff, make it look mix match. Go find a cool old dresser. Go find an old, headboard from a bed. Go find all this stuff and just mix and match it. Take a bookcase and lay it on its side, and you've got a bar all of a sudden. I mean, there's so many things you could do, which is probably my favorite of the styles, is that shipwreck, Swiss family, let's make it out of what we have type of approach, which is just fun, and it's insanely creative. Because there's no wrong way of doing it. You're going to find, if you're out shopping, you're going to find things different than what I'm going to find here in Florida, and you could send you on the West Coast and me over here, same perimeters, and come up with 2 completely different great things, and that's what's awesome. I love those bars like that. Again, Bay Area, Last Rites. I love Last Rites because they took that tiki thought, but then I call it the plane to Polynesia, but it all went horribly wrong. It didn't make it.
It's like Lost.
Yeah, and it's great. Like, it's so good to have half a plane wing in the wall, and that's your table. It's I love that. Eventually, and I know it's totally blasphemy, but eventually you go, enough with the bamboo. Let's do something different. Let's do this. Let's do that. So yeah, it's. I would, if I was saying someone was starting out, I would say go with that storyline. Go with a Swiss Family Robinson type of thing for your bar, and just have a ton of fun with it. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to be wrong, which is the best way.
Yeah, that's you know, it's funny. There's always those conversations. Anytime you get tiki people together, is this tiki or is that tiki?
Uh,
Yeah, and those conversations drive me nuts.
can I? I know this is recording, but my answer is always, who cares? Do you like it? Like, if you like it, then enjoy it. That
Well,
okay, you know.
my answer is tiki is like porn. It's in the eye of the beholder.
I was gonna say, somebody told me the other day, it's you know, it's art. One of us is right.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, whatever you want to do. I've actually never thought of Trader Sam's as tiki bars, which is kind of funny when I say that. People go, what? When we started, we toured a lot of tiki bars in LA. We went to Tiki Tea, we went to Clifton's, you know, we hit all those. And eventually I stopped going. Bahuka out in the valley there towards Anaheim. I stopped going because I didn't want to copy anything that I was seeing in these other places. You know, I didn't want people to walk into a Sam's and go, "Oh, that's like a Tiki Tea. They did the license plates on the seal. Oh, okay." You know, like I didn't want to do any of that. So I really just went full in with the Adventureland thing. So yeah, I think of them both as more adventure themed bars as you know, we have tiki drinks, sure, and we've got Oceanic Arts light fixtures, but other than that, I've never really thought of them as tiki bars, which gets me out of the, hey, is it tiki or not? I go, no, of course not.
Well, if you have Oceanic Arts and tiki drinks in there,
Yeah, I guess you got me there, but still.
yeah, yeah, that's a tiki bar. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that shipwreck, because actually what I ended up doing, I discovered unbeknownst to me, I have amassed a collection of rums.
Sure.
I was like, I only have a few bottles. No, no, you have a lot. And then as I pulled them all out of the cabinet, I discovered I had like 40 bottles of rum. Oh, yeah, okay. We'll call it a collection.
Nathan was on. He's talking about the 12-year, and you know, there's only what did he say, 4,000 bottles in the world or whatever. So I text my wife. I go, "Hey, do we have a bottle of that?" And she walks in. She's like, "Yeah, we have two." And I was like, "Oh God, oh God, what is? Oh
But it's
no."
100 proof. It has to be the 100 proof. That's
I'll
the
have to go look at the label. Yeah, she brought it, and I was like, "No, you didn't need to bring it. I just wanted to know if we had it." But
yeah, I've got to go get that 14 tomorrow. But I
yeah,
ended up taking all my bottles of rum, and I had this space that had been hiding behind some thatch. I'm like, well, take the thatch away. Now this is where my rum collection is going to be.
there you
And I
go.
just took a bunch of crates, strewn some lights in there, and I have the bottles of rum with some tchotchkes, some skulls, and
Nice.
some other
You
stuff.
throw some raffia in there, so a little bit of thatch. They look like they're freshly shipped. You know, you're good.
Yeah. So did that, and then I ended up finding a what is it? Oh, Lost Cargo had
Oh yeah,
a nice little image and the whole Lost Cargo thing. I'm like,
yeah.
okay, I need that for the space. In fact, you can almost see it up there at the top in the red.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's just a little piece of it there. So yeah, I mean so, and that honestly is because of you, because I'm going, well, I got to have a story for this.
Yeah, but it makes it easy. You know, it makes
Like
it
a
easy
secret.
because then it makes it easier because then when you're out shopping, you can go, "Ooh, that's what I need," and you go, "Oh, thank God, I didn't have to buy all this crap I didn't want." You know, it's like if you go in with something in mind, it just makes it so much easier.
No, I find it's more, damn it, you had to make that, didn't you? Because it exactly
Well,
fits for
sure.
what I want.
Yeah.
Case in point, the Lost Cargo. Case in point, Ken Tiki, who makes these amazing speaker boxes.
Mm,
That he'd been doing jungle sounds, and I had a couple
nice.
of his jungle sounds. I have him in the bar and on the back patio. Well, now all of a sudden he made a new one that was a ship with the creaking timbers and
Nice.
sounds. And I'm like,
Nice.
damn it, now I got to get another one.
Yeah, now you need that one. Yeah. No, that sounds good.
So yeah. Well, man, that is awesome stuff. And you're doing stuff now. So let's talk about some of the stuff that's on your website now.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously you can still get the field guide, but then it just kind of grew and grew and grew, and you know, I'm very lucky and very fortunate to have people that come to the website and buy stuff, which is great.
We've had a
And
lot of comments about your mugs. So
the mugs are great. Mugs are funny too, because I got to the point. This one's the one of the newest ones, which is the size of my head, which is just awesome. Um, Somebody online said, when does it stop becoming a mug and becomes a vase? And I was like, hey, I bought the one at what was it, Kontiki in Oakland. That's a freaking vase.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that is a vase.
yeah, come on.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that thing's a beast. They brought that out when I bought it, and I was like, is that the mug? What the heck? But yeah, this is one of the ones we have on the site right now.
Pitcher that they use to pour into the mugs is what that is.
Right? I was like, good God. It's a tiki carafe is what it was. But yeah, this is one of the new ones on the website right now, and the mask is based off of in the 60s, the Trader Sam figure at Jungle Cruise wore a mask, which is the centerpiece in the bar in Anaheim that I had remade. So yeah, so this is that one, and again with story, it looks very much like it's wood carved, like it would have been something that the island natives would have made in honor of him. And it's also big enough that you can just put it as a prop on your shelf. But yeah, mugs are cool. Somebody mentioned the Doom altar. Yeah, that one was great. That was just me being selfish, like everything I sell. The joke is I make stuff that I would buy. I just have to make 500 of them, so I sell the rest.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it goes. So yeah, the Temple of Doom mug that we did was really cool because I wanted it to light up, and it took a little R&D to figure that out. But yeah, it comes with a glow cube. It comes with a separate glass inside that glass, and then it lights up, and the eyes and the nose glow just like in the film. And then yeah, we did a Jaws mug that did really, really well. We actually oversold on those, which was kind of embarrassing. But you know,
Oops.
I mean, it could have been worse. Could still have them, but yeah, doing that, and then just trying to keep on track of it, you know, and it's already changed so dramatically from when I started making mugs, because I feel like now everybody's making mugs. The mug game has become very kind of stressful because, you know, like I said, I'm dealing with some great vendors. Monk Tiki does a lot of pretty much all my mugs, you know, so I have to buy large quantities, which is fine. And luckily enough people want them. But yeah, mugs have gotten a little crazy. So then I started during quarantine and before, going, well, what are other things in the tiki world that nobody else is doing? Which is what led to the comic book, because nobody was doing a pulp 30s tiki themed comic book, and this is all 5 volumes in one. But that's done really well, and again, it's something different. I mean, you know, his sidekick is a shrunken head, so you can't beat that. And so that happened, and then that spawned off to our vinyl record, which is great. Which is
I saw that. So
yeah,
that's actually a vinyl record, because I saw the
yeah.
MP3 file.
Yeah, no, it's a record. If you buy the record, you get it all digital download of the record, but it is an actual vinyl 12-inch record, and it goes along with the comic. On the back, it actually says where you should start on what page for the music to play you through that sequence, that scene.
Nice.
And the side A on that is very much awesome exotica. You know, it's all original, written for us. And then the side B gets into kind of more sacrificial Temple of Doom type music, you know, along with the story as we progress through the story. But yeah, it's doing really well. And then it looks nice and old and aged, so it looks good in your home tiki bar. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's what happens when I'm in quarantine and I go, yeah, I'm gonna make a record. Let's do that. That'll be fun. Dear God, I hope somebody buys it. You know, that's yeah, it's just the stuff you think about. And then we've even got I'm looking over my shoulder. The true bucket list item for me was the action figure.
Whoa.
Because why not? And there's his little shrunken head on his belt, and good to go. So those are coming. And
Nice.
and again, I wanted it. I just had to order 500 of them. So oh well. I'll line them all up. I'll have a whole army of them. It'll be great.
Well, I may have a personality to go into that collection, so I'm going to
There you
talk
go.
offline, because there's something I'm working on. We're going to be launching here. My target is to do a launch on the 19th. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk with you about that offline. That's incredible. I mean, the stuff that you have that comes out of your head. I mean, those voices that are talking inside of your head.
Yeah, they're all in here. There's good voices, there's bad voices, there's all sorts of that stuff. Someone says got all the comics and got the record. Well, thank you very much.
That is Mad Maybe. He is the dude. He's on it. Yeah.
Cindy says, what is your most prized possession in all your collections? Oh God, we don't have time to discuss that. There's way too much
Well,
that, yeah, I've got
possession, so there's only one.
yeah, well, that's true. Oh God.
What would it be?
I don't know. I don't know. I always behaved myself and never stole anything when I was at Disney, so I don't have any good stuff from there. It's not like right off camera is an animatronic of something, No, can't do that. But no, I've got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and I've got a new Lego set that I spent New Year's weekend building. So
So you say you have an Abraham Lincoln and an Aloha shirt off to the side?
Right. Yeah, can't show you. But it's signed by Bob Gurr, so we're good.
Nice.
Which there's probably 4 people that got that joke, because Bob Gurr, God bless him, I love him to death. He will sign anything, even if he didn't work on it. I love him to death. He's the best. Always carries a Sharpie and will sign anything. He's the best.
The only one that I've heard of, and I had a chance to see him interviewed, and see his name at Disneyland.
Sure.
Is it Roland Crump?
Oh yeah, Rolly, yeah.
Rolly, yeah.
Rolly's great. Rolly, obviously, all of his work on the Tiki Room and the whole Lanai and the Tiki Gods. A lot of my biggest inspiration from Sam's came from a gift shop that Rolly did, the South Sea Traders in Disneyland. It's right across from Jungle Cruise exit.
Yes, I know it very well.
Yeah, to the left of the bazaar, in between what used to be the Indiana Jones gift shop and the bazaar was South Seas Traders. And I loved that place when I used to work at the park. And it was just crates and nets and stuff hanging from the ceiling. And it was just such an adventure-y, feel to it. So yeah, I went in there and took tons of photos when we were designing Sam's, of going, oh yeah, I'm doing this. This is it. This is cool. But Rolly's a great guy too. Yeah, it's been a while since I've talked to him, but he's awesome.
Yeah, I've got an Indiana Jones hat from there, and I've got a couple of different snakes from there, and a lot of other things from that South Seas Trading. That little gift shop there is awesome.
Yeah, Rolly's great. My favorite story of Rolly in the golden days of Imagineering was he used to, one day somebody was like, "What the hell is that noise?" And Rolly was riding his motorcycle through the hallway of the building. And someone was like, what are you doing? And there was a girl on the back of it, on the back of hanging onto Rolly, because Rolly was ladies.
As one would do. Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody was like, what were you doing? And he's like, my secretary's never ridden a motorcycle. Nothing to it, but right down the middle of the inside of WDI, it's like, that's great. Man, that's good stuff.
That is awesome. And I love the fact that it's WDI. I mean, the rest of us, it's, wow, Disney Imagineering. Ooh, yeah, Imagineering.
WDI.
Yeah, WDI. Yeah, I'm at WDI. So
it'll never get old. I mean, it's always going to be weird to me. It's weird. Like if I go to Sam's now, it's weird that anyone else is there to me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
it's the one because I think George Lucas said it about Star Wars of like, I wish I could sit in the audience and have watched it as a film goer. And I do that too, where I'm like, imagine what I wish I could have walked into Sam's and seen it for the first time like everybody else. So I'm disconnected, but it's so fun to just sit in the corner and just watch people, experience things and sink in the stools and look at stuff on the walls. And yeah, it's a different experience, but it's great.
Well, it's absolutely phenomenal. Love all the stuff that you're doing. Amazing work that you do.
Thank you.
And was so stoked when you said yes, you'd come on to the show, because I knew we'd probably spend a lot of time. So, good news, bad news. We have 3 featured guests lined up, and apparently one's already dropped off. So, we got extra time. It was great being able to hang out and chat with you.
And I've got, I was going to say, what else can I plug? The last thing I've got it goes live on Thursday. I'm doing a Kickstarter with a friend. We're writing a cocktail book of recipes. One of the things we've done, or that I started doing during quarantine, was play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I'd never played.
Okay.
And so he taught me, and he brought me into that world. I brought him more into the tiki world, and every night we would have a game. I would make a cocktail that was kind of themed to the game. And so we are combining our efforts and coming up with a cocktail book, which you don't have to play Dungeons and Dragons to like the drinks. I mean, they're just good drinks. And one of my good friends from Trader Sam's in Anaheim, Roy is going to be creating a lot of those drinks for us. So yeah, it should be great. But that Kickstarter goes live this Thursday, so
Nice.
I will plug it desperately on my Instagram page, so you won't be able to miss it.
And we have your Tiki Comer card that
Yes.
will take people out to your Instagram page. So
Yeah, I just saw that app. It's great.
thank you. Yeah, it's we are we're just over a year old. We launched middle of last year, and we are about to kick off the Tiki Comer 1K.
Nice.
Nobody's running. It's just
Thank God.
we're getting to 1,000 people that are using the app.
I thought you were going to say you were going to drink the equivalent of running a 1K. I was like, I don't think this is going to go well.
Oh, now, okay, now
I mean, we could try it.
you're giving me something else to think about.
You might as well. I mean, you're there. If you're not going to run, might as well drink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that I love the app, and we have a lot of good comments on the
Yeah,
app.
it looks great.
Right, using it very well. And in this time of COVID, what's really nice is being able to share the drinks that we do on the show, the people that we're talking to help give you guys promos to go visit your websites and
Sure.
as Perkeo made a comment, it's like he loves it because he's like, yeah, who was that? When was that person on? And he can go back and find the card and go back.
No, it's great. It's great. I was playing with it last night. No, it's really awesome.
Oh, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it and appreciate your time.
Hey, anytime. Yeah, thanks for having me.
10:30, almost 11 o'clock at night there.
No, it's quarantine. I go to bed at 8. Like I don't have to get up early. I don't stay up late. Yeah, what is going on? But I'm almost at my 1 year of being locked down in my house, so it's pretty great.
Wow. Yeah,
I really don't go out.
A year ago at this time, I flew to Dallas, then I got back and I went to Las Vegas for a conference at a hotel, one of the major hotels. I left from that to get on to New Orleans, where I then boarded a cruise ship.
Well, if you're not if you don't have it by now, you're fine.
That's what I figured. It's like, you know what? We threw
Man, you should have had it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, if we didn't get it then yeah, we're good.
Yeah, no, stay home, wear your masks, wear all that, stay smart, We'll get out of it eventually if everybody plays along.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was, I think when quarantine started, it was there's the people that are actually doing the homework, and then there's everyone else that just it's like that, and you're like, no, I'm doing the work, come on.
Exactly.
Last time I went outside, I had to drive to downtown Orlando, and I was like, that skyscraper's new. Like, that's how long it's been since I've driven anywhere. I was like, what is this? Where did that get there? Yeah.
So you were going downtown to go to Aku for a tiger fucker, weren't you?
Yeah. No, I don't want COVID. No, I'm staying home.
All right. Good man. And it just gave me a chance to say tiger fucker again.
Of course. Yeah, might as well. I mean,
Yeah.
What's the worst thing it's going to do? YouTube will just block it. Whatever.
Yeah. I forgot to tell Aaron earmuffs. So hopefully the little ones weren't paying attention here earlier.
Or she's asking a lot of questions right now, and it's time to have that conversation.
Well, yeah, could be.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Brandon.
You got it, Jeff.
Conversation. Glad you were on tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely love having you on. And like I said, I'll be reaching out to you. I want to chat more.
No problem. Everybody, if anybody's ever got questions, Instagram's right there, and I run it myself. So, I see all the comments. So if anybody ever needs anything, feel free to reach out.
Oh crap! So I better make nice comments, is what you're saying,
Oh, yeah.
because you'll see them.
I think I've already blocked you, so I think we're good.
Yeah, probably most people have. These are the last people on Earth that have not. Just to
And
let
I'm like, oh, the tacky tiki guy. Yeah, no, we don't need that.
Oh yeah, that trail his ass on out of here. I don't go. All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so let's go talk to our surf monkeys. Let me go to. There we go. I have one, and let me see if I can find Maxwell.
That's Max. You got Max.
Oh, I have Max. Okay, well, I found him. And there's Alex. There you go. Now I'm going to add you as a spotlight. And okay,
Cool.
look out. I don't know if this is your guys' first time, but it's my first time. I'm about ready to try a three-way.
Let's do it.
There we go.
There we go. It worked.
There we go.
Yay.
Yeah. So how are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Great. Yeah.
Well,
doing
thanks
really
for-
well.
Thanks for sticking with us and all the mayhem and everything. Hope you guys had a nice cocktail and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, this has been very cool. Thanks for having us on.
And you guys are doing some really cool stuff. I mean, I had a chance to see your website. You're doing a lot of interesting videos, movies, what have you, including one that is in the tiki genre. So I'll let you guys kind of talk a little bit about Surf Monkey and what Surf Monkey Films and what you're all about.
Sure. So Alex and we went to film school together just over at actually down here in Orange County, California, at Chapman University.
Oh, nice. That's where my daughter went to school, was Chapman. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Go
There you
Panthers.
Go Panthers. Nice. Yeah, so we met there. That would have been like 2004-ish. Is that right?
Yeah, probably.
More or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, we worked on a couple of projects together in school, and then started working together professionally after school. We've done a lot of music videos. We've done some work for a Netflix show called Ask the Storybots, which is a kids educational show, which is also very entertaining. What else have we done? Alex is a professional editor normally, and I'm a professional director of photography. So we kind of do our own thing separately, but together we are working on this documentary project, which we are calling The Dawn of Tiki.
That I love that term.
Yeah, I think Alex came up with that actually. We kind of, I mean, it works three ways, right? It's Don Beach's name, D-O-N-N, but it's also Dawn like the mafia style Dawn of Tiki, and also Dawn like the beginning of Tiki. So good job, Alex.
Pun within a pun. Within a pun.
And then you have Don Trump. Oh wait,
Yes.
I might have. Now, never mind.
Not for too much longer. So this project, or do you want to kind of talk about how we started this, Alex?
Yeah, we started while we were both at our day jobs. We started doing this project that we thought was going to be a little more episodic, where we were just interviewing owners of tiki bars in Los Angeles, especially like old tiki bars like Tiki Tea, and then newer ones like Lono. A lot of places in Hollywood and Los Angeles. And then everyone we talked to seemed to have this very, everyone loved to tell stories about Dawn, and like their eyes would just light up when they would tell these stories. And most of these stories didn't sound true. Most of them sounded like they were made up, possibly by Dawn himself or just by people over the years. And we were like, Dawn really should have his own story told, because I've watched a lot of documentaries about tiki, and people always kind of talk about Dawn and then they move on, and Dawn's story is very fascinating in and of itself. He's just a fascinating guy, and we started reaching out to people who knew him, people who were related to him, people who were inspired by him and just collecting as much as we could and started putting this thing together. And yeah, now we're kind of on our way. It was kind of just something we started doing during quarantine, and it turned into a full-time job.
So what brought you guys to Tiki?
That's a good question. I think, I mean, we're relative newcomers to Tiki world here. I think Alex, you kind of started getting into it first.
I think like I started going to Tiki bars maybe like 10 years ago. Just started going to bars in general probably, but Tiki bars, I think the first one I actually went to was a Dawn the Beachcomber in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And it was just a cool experience, and just kind of grew from there. I think I got obsessed with collecting mugs and going to Trader Sam's and all these new tiki bars that were popping up. It was kind of just the perfect time. Everything sort of started happening.
It's funny, actually Trader Sam's I think was maybe the first one I went to, which was probably not that long after it opened, like around 10 years ago. And there is kind of what Trader Brandon was talking about, actually. There's like this interesting sort of crossover with filmmaking and Tiki world, where you kind of are like telling this story. You know, you develop a narrative when you're building out the bar. So there's something really appealing to us as filmmakers, and that sort of crossover. You know, the conceit of like, here's a weird thing that never happened and now you're living it. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's why when people talk about cultural appropriation, it's like, what are we appropriating? This doesn't exist anywhere.
Yeah, and this is something that we are addressing in the film, right? Because it's kind of, well, I don't know that you could do a Tiki documentary right now without talking about it, first of all. But yeah, it's sort of an interesting question, right? It's like when Don Beach made his first, you know, Don's Beachcomber, it's like, sure, there was sort of Caribbean influence and Polynesian influence, and there's sort of little bits drawn from all over the place, but it's something that never existed in reality. It's like this weird amalgamation, and which is another really interesting part of it. It's right. It's like, how do you do it without offending anybody, but who should be offended? It's like there is no Tiki culture except for what we know today, which is really based on kind of mid-century American culture
or understanding of this like South Pacific culture.
Yeah.
I think one of the people that we interviewed, they had the best way of putting it, which was that Don was kind of like, because he was a traveler and he was an adventurer and he had traveled the world before, you know, he was 20 something years old. He was a young 20s. He had gone everywhere pretty much. And he was kind of like that kid that you meet in high school who went to Japan over the summer and got really into anime. And then when he comes back, he just wants to tell everybody about anime. And that's kind of the same as Don. Like Don wanted to share all this stuff that he found and saw and loved. Whether or not he did that as accurately as possible wasn't really the point. He thought he was sharing these cultures of the world, and there was no ill intent there. I think now we have to look at it with a little more conscience and think about like, well, what is this saying? But you know, I think Don was just excited.
Well, and I'm happy that it wasn't anime that he brought back. I don't want to be into that culture. I'm sorry. It's not anything wrong with that, but I definitely prefer this Tiki culture.
Yeah.
And as somebody that grew up in the Midwest, in the snow belt, South Bend, Indiana, one of the top 10 snow cities of the country. And I remember winters snow above my head, forget up to my ass, over my head. It was just snow. Always had these images of an island escape, an island getaway, and what that would be like. And that's what he tapped into. People, no matter where you came from, that's what he tapped into, is that escapism.
Right.
Yeah, and that's something we're talking about in the film too. We've interviewed a few people now, and we're kind of continuing interviews over the next several months. But that idea, of that escapism has really been persistent, right? It's like sort of a need, I think, for people to be able to walk in the door and there's no windows and you don't know like what time it is anymore.
No
Is it light
TV.
outside. Yeah, there's no TVs. It's like you really are kind of going to another place.
Yeah.
Well,
And he always kind of has.
oh, go ahead.
Oh well, Tiki always has that resurgence. Every time like our country goes through something, Tiki has a huge resurgence and becomes popular again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
our
I
country
read that
needs
article
Tiki
about
right now.
Yeah, I read the article about when Republicans are in office. It was Reagan, and now it was Trump. They were expecting a resurgence of tiki. But what I can tell you, you guys are both native Southern Californians.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go to probably this time of year, if you go to Denver and go to the Adrift Tiki Bar, you will discover either there, you will discover true escapism because you go from snow and wind and cold and you step inside to a tropical paradise. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The other place is Doc's gonna kill me. Zombie Village in San Francisco,
Oh, sure.
where you are in the Tenderloin district of San Francisco. You guys are from California. I know what that is. Or needles and condoms and bodily fluids all over the street. And you walk inside to this amazing transformation. That's the escapism right there.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I remember I went to Three Dots and a Dash in Chicago like several years ago. I was there in January, I think, and I was like standing outside in the cold, freezing my ass off. And then we opened the door and go in, and it's like, this is amazing. and I think that's something that is like kind of, that's why I think tiki bars won't die, is that ability to transport people into this other place or other time. There's something very appealing about that.
Yeah.
So, and then, so our film, as Alex was saying, it's like we kind of started covering tiki as kind of a broader topic. And the more we learned about Don Beach and the history, the more we thought, okay, there's a story here. And most people, like probably all the people on here, know that, the original Don's Beachcomber in 1933 is sort of like the prototype for what we now know as tiki bars today. But, it's like he did that in 33 with his wife at the time, Sunny Sund.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they moved across the street and incorporated food and had a bigger location. And then he went off to World War II shortly after. They divorced in 40, I think, 1940. And then he was in Europe from 41 to 45. And then, like, most people don't know what happened after that, right? Like he was in Hawaii. Some people know he had a Don's there, and he had the international marketplace.
Yep.
But there's all this amazing stuff like in his life that we kind of touch on in the film. And, he ended up being this huge proponent for, keeping native Hawaiian culture and Tahitian culture, like keeping that stuff alive and like really sharing it with people, with tourists.
Yeah, the whole point of the international marketplace when he opened it was to have a place that brought all of these Polynesian cultures together, where you could buy goods from Tahiti, or you could try food from here, from there, and like that was kind of his thing, is he wanted to share this culture with everybody. And yeah, he was also, especially like later in life in Hawaii, he actually fought against Hawaii becoming a state. And the reasons he says that he did that are actually he thought that he wanted Hawaii to keep a limited monarchy, be part of the United States, but they wouldn't be a state. They would still be Hawaii, because he didn't want America coming in and Americanizing the island there.
Oh yeah, have you guys been to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Have you had a Mai Tai in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. I've had shitty drinks that they call Mai Tais, but I've not had a
Yes.
Mai Tai in Hawaii. No, but totally, it's been Americanized to a great degree.
And it was actually, I mean, I didn't know any of this until we started digging into this, but it was already becoming that before Don went there, when he came back from the war. He kind of tiki-fied Hawaii. He was the only place that had, you know, like bamboo and a hatched roof, and like Hawaiians didn't want that because they were moving more towards, they wanted to have modern buildings, and they wanted to have, you know, people coming from around the world. They didn't want to sort of look back on all this, but he sort of brought some of that culture back, and, you know, wanted it to be protected.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that time period, you know, right after World War II, it's like James Michener's book, The Tales of the South Pacific, that was in 47, and then the Kon-Tiki, you know, raft thing, that was 47.
Or
So there was,
Heyerdahl.
yeah, there was this obsession with this culture, this idea of the South Pacific, more so than the actual place. And he, you know, Don Beach was like a master of, I don't want to say exploiting that, but he saw a way to sort of, you know, really share that with people, the idea of it with people, this romanticized idea, and
Right.
and he, you know, made a living doing it. And there's some stuff that we're learning about now that I think people are going to be sort of surprised to hear. There's some really interesting stuff. We're working with Tim Glazner, who's
Yep.
AKA Swanky.
Yep, Swanky was on with us. I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's quarantine. I can't remember.
Right. Yeah,
It
he
was
was on
like, you know, a month ago. I don't know, but he was on recently.
a couple weeks ago, and Tim probably knows more about Don Beach than anybody else in the world right now. And he's been doing research for the last 10 years, and so we're working with Tim. So anyway,
I think Alex had some rude noises. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tim wrote an amazing book about the Maikai, and then, you know, obviously Sven's book, you know, the Book of Tiki, and Jeff Berry's books, but Sip and Safari in particular. You know, those are all sort of inspiration too, and kind of getting the history out to more people, to like a broader audience about, you know, some of the Polynesian or the Filipino guys that were huge early on. Like
Right.
they had a massive influence in the development of this whole thing.
Well,
So-
that's who Don relied on to make his drinks. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then also his first wife, Sunny Sun, really kind of ran the business and grew it into more than just one little place. You know, she expanded into Chicago and so forth. So
He was
we're
like
kinda
Ray Kroc before Ray Kroc.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're trying to highlight some of the players that were really kind of critical to the early development of Tiki, that maybe the general population is less aware of. That's another goal of the documentary.
Yeah, I think that a big part of, you know, the whole cultural appropriation conversation that there seems to be an article about every week, that it's kind of there's a misunderstanding of what Tiki is, and I think that an understanding of where it started and who Don Beach was kind of helps everybody understand what's going on. So maybe there are some things, let's say, going forward that you have to change. Maybe people don't call them tiki bars, maybe they call it Polynesian, faux Polynesian pop or whatever, but tiki bars are never going to go away, and what Don created and who he was is kind of what we're trying to celebrate, so that people can understand it from the perspective of, he was just an entrepreneur in the, you know, 30s.
Well,
Yeah.
what's interesting to me is he is known as the founder of this whole tiki bar thing, but he wasn't the first guy to put tikis into a bar. That came later.
And and that's kind of the other thing, is that a lot of the things that we've seen that people are upset with are not even things that Don did. It's like Don created this idea and then it was copied and copied and copied until eventually it became this, you know, kitschy sort of thing that wasn't really trying to share or express anything. It was just kind of a goofy thing, which I think that Tiki was seen as like is close as like 20 years ago. You know, it's been taken more seriously as the cocktail revolution has come back. We've also had the Tiki cocktail revolution. And I think that people are kind of starting to appreciate it for what it is again, not the image that they might have in their head of, you know, plastic, blue drinks and plastic umbrellas and whatnot.
And sweet, syrupy, sugary drinks. Yeah. I mean, that's the image. But now with the cocktail revolution, it's really brought back prime ingredients to make quality cocktails, kind of what was made, you know, dang, almost 100 years ago now at this point, 90 years ago.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's, you know, it's sort of come full circle almost. Like, you obviously Tiki kind of went really out of fashion in the 70s, 80s, and was almost dead in the 90s. And then these folks kind of worked so hard to revive it. You know, Jeff Berry was obviously really instrumental in that. But in a way, we're kind of closer to what it was in the 30s than we have been in the last, you know, 50 or 60 years at least.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, especially for people here in Orange County, because as was noted earlier, we have 3 tiki bars. So the place you go to get good quality tiki drinks are at a craft cocktail bar. And so you're having that craft cocktail experience. And so, yeah, very much like it was back in the day, having a good quality drink.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something, I think there's kind of this new generation, you know, all of these tiki bars that have opened in the last 10 or 15 years are really focusing on that, the quality of the drinks, you know, the ingredients and the rum, like all of that stuff is really critical now to having a successful bar, I think, because the people going now expect that. Like, especially the new generation of people who are appreciating tiki.
Well, I have conversations with people all the time about what makes a tiki bar. And I mean, there are so many different things that go into it. You know, I always say the number one thing is that Ohana feel. I can excuse mediocre drinks if it's a great Ohana vibe in the bar. But if it's crappy drinks, I can't even get past it. It's gonna be bad situation. I don't care how damn friendly you are. The drinks suck, and I can't drink this drink. There's been 2 bars that hit that mark for me. One here in Orange County, and it will remain nameless. Another one was actually Beachcomber in London, and with a name like Beachcomber, right? I mean, you walk in, it's like you have Beachcomber. I've got this image. You better damn well live up to it because you've taken like the premier name. And I walked in. It was like a bro frat party, hipster beards and the caps and all this crap. And I'm looking around going, okay. I took a taste of the drink. I'm like, oh, I need to get the hell out of here. And literally, that was the worst review the only time I've ever written a bad review. Really? I had the chance to visit it last year, and they turned it around completely. A lot better drinks, amazing drinks, and really cool people that are working there. So, yeah, the cocktails, that's at the center, man. It's the epicenter.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was something that Don was obsessive about. You know, I mean, I think he coined the term rum rhapsodies because he's the one who was like created these drinks that were, you know, 16 ingredient drinks.
Right.
And it was a very specific, like, a quarter ounce of this, you know, which is the tradition today that, you know, people are still following and is still making great cocktails.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
I
funny.
don't know who his testers were, but wow. Yeah. To know that it's a quarter of an ounce, not an
Yeah.
ounce or half an ounce, but a quarter for that rum. But then you
Yeah.
have this other rum that's now an ounce and a half. And yeah.
Yeah, and to think we were so close to really losing almost all of that stuff, right? It's I mean, Don was born in 1907, right? He died in 1989. Almost all the people who worked with him at any point are gone,
Right.
and so now it's kind of like, you know, a few of those guys were still alive, like in the 90s, and were able to pass some of this stuff on, but. Yeah, it's like now we're kind of talking to the last few people who are around who knew Don personally, like back in the day, and then, you know, family members and friends of friends and stuff like that. So part of the reason we're doing this film is it's like there's history, you know, eventually just kind of fades away, right? So kind of capturing these memories from people who were there. This is like, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
Have you spent any time with the Bergeron family?
We've been talking with them, but you know, with COVID and everything, most of the bar owners that we're talking to are just trying to get through the pandemic right now.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Tiki Tea and the Bergeron family is that, you know,
we're talking about Trader Vic guys, actually.
oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
You're thinking of Buin.
Yeah, Buins. The Bergeron family, we want to include his granddaughter, because, you know, there are a lot of great stories there about Don and Trader Vic. A lot of great stories that we've already gotten, but we definitely want to explore that relationship a little bit, because it right now, at least in my head, it's a very cartoony sort of like spy versus spy kind of relationship. And I think that I think it was a little more nuanced than that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for the tiki world, it's the Hatfields and McCoys.
Right.
I mean, it's interesting. It'll be really cool to explore that dynamic, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a critical part of the story, you know, early on, kind of, you know, Don versus Trader Vic, and then eventually you get into the Steve Cranes and those guys as well. But yeah, but early on, I mean, arguably Trader Vic's did more for the mainstreaming of tiki than Don the Beachcomber restaurants, right? Like with the mixes that you could get in the stores and stuff, that really kind of helped popularize it early on. So we do want to include the Bergeron family. We haven't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're doing right now also is just figuring out, like, we're getting all the local interviews that we can get right now during the pandemic, which is tough as it is, but we're also raising money to, you know, travel and get interviews with people around the country, and, you know, we've and some international stuff that we want to do. So that's kind of one of our goals, is to raise the money that we need to at least get the production of this thing finished.
Right.
Well, you got to get to the Mai Kai. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
that is a must.
Oh yeah. That's on the list for sure. I mean, that's one of the last true tiki bars, as far as, like, you know, it's you can trace the lineage all the way back to Don the Beachcomber, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, they have the drinks are made behind the scenes. They have the Mai Kai girl that brings the drinks out, and it's amazing. They've got the floor show, and I asked Swanky when he was on, I said, okay, so how many tikis are actually out in that back courtyard? And he just started laughing. He goes, I have no idea. I don't think anybody does. I mean, it's just, that place is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure to visit there.
Yeah, we've got to get out there. So yeah, so the project, I mean, just to give you kind of a general overview, it's like we started working on this maybe, I don't know, a year ago, kind of in the idea phase. And then we've kind of been in this development and pre-production phase for the last several months. We've started shooting some interviews, and then the next major thing is fundraising. We just got accepted to the fiscal sponsorship program through the International Documentary Association, which is a big deal. So we'll be able to take tax deductible donations toward the project.
Nice.
So we'll be getting that information out there pretty soon. And then we're going to start a crowdfunding campaign, probably via Kickstarter. The plan right now is to get that up in February. So, keep an eye out for that.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, definitely keep us posted on this, because we'd love to support you guys. I love what you're doing. I think, it sounds like you're digging behind the stories that everybody already knows out there about Don. You're going more in depth on him personally and who he was. So I think that'll be good.
Yeah, that's really our goal is there's only so much that's kind of out there that's publicly available. And at this point, people who are into Tiki have read all that stuff and they know it all, right? So you kind of sit down to have a conversation and it's like, well, we've read the same books and we're telling the same story. so yeah, the idea of really digging and getting as much information as we possibly can, that's the goal. So we're getting there, and we're really excited with some of the stuff that we have already. And we know there's a lot more coming later this year.
Although I can make a suggestion, if you guys can make a Netflix series about Don, that would be really cool, because I don't have anything else to watch. I've watched everything, so that would be awesome.
We've thought about that. I mean, potentially there's enough stuff that we could
cut it
maybe do it as a series, but we'll see. We'll see. Right now, the plan is to do a feature-length film, but depending on how much stuff we get over the next few months, potentially there is a series there.
Yeah.
Well, we have your guys' promo card. The information is in the chat. The number is in the chat. So hit that Shaka code and you can get the Surf Monkey card, which will take you out to all of their stuff, their social media, as well as the website. So you can keep track of when you guys are able to launch this, because I mean, we're getting people in the chat like, we want to know when you're going to do this, because we want to help support it. So this is the audience to help do that, to help you get there. Believe me.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we're really happy. Like, everybody we've talked to in Tiki world has been so welcoming and like really appreciates what we're doing, or so it seems. So we're pumped. It gives us motivation to really keep going and make the best film we can.
Yeah, we haven't encountered any assholes yet.
Well, I can point you to some if you want.
Okay.
No, just kidding. Yeah, some of them would point you back to me, but that's another story. No, Tiki people tend to be pretty cool. Although it's always funny when there is Tiki drama. On the West Coast, we've got Tiki drama between event producers. On the East Coast, there's Tiki drama around, again, event producers and acquisitions that were made. But you know what? It's always been there, because Don and Vic had that Tiki drama. I mean, they started it. They ramped it up, man.
Part of Tiki. It's embedded in the culture.
So in your movie, who invents the Mai Tai?
Well, this is a good question. The consensus right now, based on the people that seem to know the most about the history, is that Trader Vic invented the Mai Tai, but it was based on the QB cooler, which was a Don drink.
Right.
Although if you look at the ingredients, there's not really a lot of crossover.
Yeah, I was looking at that going, I don't understand how this leads to that. They're two different drinks.
Yeah. It shows how good Don was at coding everything, that I feel like Trader Vic was way out there trying to figure out these ingredients.
Yeah, there is some newspaper article from the 70s where the journalist was at a bar with Trader Vic, or was it the 70s, 60s? Maybe it was the 60s. Anyway, he was there with both these guys, and supposedly he said, Trader Vic looked over and was like, Don invented the Mai Tai. Yeah. So, and we've talked to a couple.
Figure out who it was though that like wrote this article, or what, like it could have totally been, anonymously sent to the newspaper by Don. Who knows?
Fake news.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Fake news. And then, I
Alternate,
mean,
no,
honestly,
alternate facts. That's alternate facts.
that's alternative facts. That's right. But that's, you know, that kind of stuff is actually part of the appeal of Dawn, right? It's like so much, there's so much that's sort of myth and legend and kind of figuring out like what really happened versus what we have heard. That's the challenge and the joy of undertaking this project.
Yeah, he's kind of like I don't know, to me he's almost like a Hunter S. Thompson of his day. He just has this mythology and there's nothing but stories around him and you don't know how much of it's true and how much of it is just freaking fiction.
Yeah, we're kind of, so yeah, that's been I mean, the last 6 months we've been combing through the weeds a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's been quite a ride.
Well, I'll bet, man. You guys have an awesome job. I'm happy to hear you're putting this together. Love what you're doing. Want to support it. So definitely keep us posted in what you're doing, because as you see in the chat, we've got the community who's like, yeah, you know, keep us in the loop, and people want to help support what you're doing. So
Cool.
Cool. And then for people who are interested, we're talking to somebody right now about doing a custom, like limited edition Dawn mug as part of the Kickstarter too. So for all the mug folks out there, that might be coming up.
hey, that might not be bad. That might not be bad. Yeah, and well, I'll say it here on this. So I was talking about the Tiki Comer app, and at one point I was working with my developers, and we were talking about different things for this app and what it can do and whatnot. And apparently one of the guys on the team was like totally into VR, and I was like, yeah, we can put VR into this, and I'm like, really? Well, I don't understand how that would work. We were trying to do this, and they showed me an example, and this little, you know, dancing horse or unicorn or whatever it was on the table in front of me. I'm like, wait, can I be at a bar sitting next to the beachcomber? Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That never came about, but yeah, people love the story of Don and want to hear more, and I think you guys are doing the right thing.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, and glad you stuck around. We had unfortunately we had Tracy had to drop, but this has been a great show. Just loved sitting and chatting with you guys and Trader Brandon, and so appreciate you guys coming on. And hey, you're Chapman students, so I can help you pay off your loans too, like I did with my daughter. So.
Awesome.
We'll take it.
Yeah, it's funny. People on the East Coast are like, Chap who?
Yeah, right.
I remember when I went to the session with my daughter when she was figuring out if she was going to go there or not, and somebody asked, one of the parents asked, well, how much does it cost? And the woman said it's like 48 or 50,000 a year, whatever the number was. And I'm just like, oh crap. And I remember one of the parents like, is that per year or total? Like, no, dude, that's per year. I told my daughter, I go, you know what? I grew up in South Bend. You can go to Notre Dame for that money. And nobody's going to go, Chap who? What is
Yeah.
that? But yeah, she went to Chapman, great school, great university. I know they have a good film school. You guys launched an astronaut. So one of the astronauts is actually from Chapman.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So yep. I don't know which one it was, but it was one of the astronauts that was a Chapman grad. So yeah, it's kind of cool. So good school, and yeah, we'll definitely want to help support you guys. So thanks for joining us. Very much appreciated.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. So let's Sam, where is Sam? Well, my screen wasn't there just yet. Now there we go. Yeah, it's that point where I play the Brady Bunch bingo. It's like, okay, where is she? So awesome group of guests you had tonight. Unfortunately, Tracy was not able to join us. I made comment last time she was on, she wasn't able to make it, that she's kind of like our Matt Damon for Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Apologies for Tracy not being able to have time to bring her on. but I saw where she did say she wants to do this from the Tiki Hotel in Palm Springs. So I'm going to talk with her about that and see if we can get that set up. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we're hoping to have her next time or sometime soon at least. So
At some point. Well, if it's done at her Tiki Hotel, then at least I have an idea that she's probably around somewhere and we can get her on camera.
I agree. That's what I'm feeling. Well, let's talk about next week. So next Tuesday, it's already January 12th next week.
Where's the year gone? Oh my God. It feels like just yesterday was New Year's Eve.
It really does. So we're going to jump from Surf Monkey Films over to the Shrunken Monkey. And the Shrunken Monkey will be our featured guest next Tuesday. We're also going to have lowbrow.
What you're saying.
What was that?
We are monkeying around is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Jeff. Yes.
All right.
And then we're also going to have lowbrow literati, Eddie Forbes, and more joining the McConney Marketplace.
Now, am I seeing in the chat you've connected up with JP? Are we having him next week?
Yes. How could I forget? JP from Four Kahunas Tiki Lounge will be our returning guest mixologist. So yes, he will be back.
Awesome. Yeah, it's. I got to tell you, I miss that bar. Probably with all my travels. It's funny. They told me they go, we see you more than we see our regulars. I was like, yeah, it kind of feels like my home bar. Even though it's in Dallas, well, Arlington. Yeah, so I'm glad to see JP is going to be coming back on board.
Yeah, I've never been to Texas, but I definitely really want to go to Four Kahunas, so they're on my list.
And Swizzle, we had Jen and Marty on a few weeks ago. Swizzle has opened their doors.
Yes, Swizzle too. Yeah, you're right.
Yep, and Tarantula Tiki in Fort Worth, they've opened their door. Well, their doors were already open. But Swizzle did get a chance to get their doors open, and they've been reviewed and talked about. So they're on their way. They're doing really good. But the Four Kahunas, they're kind of the ones that brought Tiki back to the Dallas area, and phenomenal bar. And like I said earlier, one of the things I look at is the Ohana feel. These guys make fantastic drinks. I love the decor they put in place. The music that they do. I love everything that they do. But more than any of that, the Ohana vibe, 100% in there. Those guys are awesome. So I'm looking forward to them coming back on.
I need to go to Texas too. That's what it sounds like.
Well, you know what? I tell you what. So in, what was it, October, when I was trying to make that drive across country, eventually getting to South Bend, I had all kinds of routes planned out. And one of the routes was taking me through Dallas and then Oklahoma City for Bob and Deb. So yeah, gotta make sure I hit Dallas. But my quandary in Dallas was, oh boy, where do I go? Because there are 3 different bars and they're very far apart. And because it's Fort Worth, Arlington, and Dallas proper, where they're at. It's like, okay, well, how do I do that? Because I have to get to Oklahoma City by a certain time in order to do this. So yeah, it's a great place. I would love, you got to go there once quarantine is done. All right. Well, I'm going to quit rambling here. So amazing show. Love the artist, the guest tonight. We didn't do a McConney Marketplace. As I was talking with Sam, I was like, these are all really cool people, but there's nothing to buy. None of them had something to sell per se. So I said, they're all featured guests. We're going to have all featured guests tonight. We can do that because gosh darn it, we can. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. It seemed like there was some really good, I enjoyed the conversation, but it was me conversing. So hopefully you guys did too. Cindy, you don't look very pleased at all. You're like, when's the show getting over? This is boring. This is stupid. Okay, good. And okay, I am going to totally mess up your name. I'm going to go, I'm not even going to go there. Lene. How do I pronounce it? Please help me.
It's Lena.
Seriously, that's Lena?
Yeah, there's accents over the E's. They go like this. Lena.
Okay, gotcha. Well, the Zoom doesn't show the little accents.
No, it doesn't. And it's really sad.
So yes, it is. So apologies for mutilating your name.
Not at all.
You just get to join the Hall of Fame with Sarah. I know I said it wrong again. And what was the one last week? There was one last week that I mutilated because it wasn't pronounced.
Sane.
Spelled. Yeah, Sane. Thank you.
Spelled Sean.
Yes. Yeah, I called him Sean and it's Sane. Yeah.
So you have to have like a degree in like French and, you know, like Irish or, you know, Gaelic or whatever.
Pretty much.
Right, yeah. I'm actually in Portland, Oregon. So we used to have a really good selection of tiki bars here for a while, but a lot of them closed. I think the Alibi might be the only one that's left after having, because we had a Trader Vic's here for a long time.
The Halle Pele is still around, right?
I don't know. Not with COVID. I have no idea with COVID because we started our COVID lockdown like before a lot of people did because we're so close to because we actually had one of the first outbreaks in Lake Oswego, which is just on just like a suburb of Portland.
Okay, but Oregon is really like super conscious about all that stuff anyways. I can't even pump my own gas in Oregon.
No, you can't. No.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice because we have a lot of jobs. Like that's it, you know, a lot of people working at gas stations. So that's nice. But yeah, like people come in and they're like, what's going on?
Get away from me. I can do this.
Yeah, or I go to Washington and I'm like, where is everybody?
Oh yeah, you're gonna be sitting a long time. You go to any other state waiting for a gas attendant. Yeah.
Well, someone will probably pop out of their car and they see the Oregon plate. Oh no. This person doesn't know what's going on.
So Cindy, I called you out earlier. Where are you calling in from? We're carrying over a phrase from 2020.
I know, sorry. I should know better. I'm from California.
All right.
Riverside.
All right.
In the house. Yeah, we need a tiki bar. I want the down the beach combers from Huntington Beach to come to Riverside because we're a pretty hot city now.
Yeah, no, I think you could do that. Get rid of the COVID and Huntington, they're also COVID city, so you might as well bring it over from Huntington. Yeah.
Well, the last tiki place was at the Mission Inn in the 70s, I think.
At the Mission Inn? Wait. Okay, I call bullshit on that one.
Oh yeah.
The Mission Inn had a tiki bar?
They did. Seriously, I was a docent there. Yeah.
The Mission Inn, for those of you that don't know, Southern California, was actually a mission. It was the Mission in Riverside. It was not
a mission.
It was a mission.
It was a person like Don Beach. The guy that actually, Frank Miller, the one that created it, just went and got stuff from all over the world and brought it there. So I mean, he was similar to the way they roamed the world and brought things back, but it wasn't a real mission.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive place because it damn sure looks like a mission.
Yeah, but the reason I'm here and I'm new to tiki is I found the Don the Beachcomber documents. The books were at my house.
The drink
from 1940. There were documents from Chicago in 1940, and they were signed by Raymond Beaumont Gant.
Yeah.
So I had his original signatures and the mob signatures and Cora. So I'm the one that found like 6 books, but I sold them.
Yes.
So,
I remember the gentleman who bought them did a nice.
Yeah, they were on the side of the house. My dad had some type of connection. His stepdad, he died 2 years ago. He was 95. So we'll never know how they got to Riverside. I had no idea who Don the Beachcomber was, but I've had 2 years of being schooled and have yet to get into a tiki bar. But I'm enjoying the crowd. I'm enjoying the mood and enjoying my ride. I'm actually going to be in that documentary. Just a small little part of finding the books, but so yeah, I got kind of thrown in here, guys.
Well,
by finding the books.
We're glad that you made it, and yeah, once everything opens up, we'll take you on a tiki.
I can't wait.
Magical tiki mystery ride. There we go.
That's why I'm here, because I somehow ended up here through those books, and I'm still trying to figure out how my stepdad ended up with them. And the only connection so far that I've been so looking for is he was friends with Danny Balls, the tikis from Monterey Park.
Okay.
And in my backyard, Danny Balls built the tiki. A whole bar is still out there. It's falling apart now, but I mean, that's the only connection I can find. And I've talked to Danny Ball's son, and he remembers going to Hollywood when he was little. I mean, he's older. So I don't know. I'm still figuring all this stuff out. I might be writing something myself.
Wow. Well, be careful, because there's somebody on here from the Dawn of Tiki that was.
Oh, I'm friends with them.
Wasn't part of the original conversation. So who are you?
We're all in on this.
Is it? Oh, sorry. It's Max here. My computer died in the other room, so I had.
Oh, Max. Okay, yeah, you look different because you're in a different lighting and you don't have the headsets on. Okay.
Different lighting, but yeah, we've talked to Cindy actually a couple of times. We're going to do an interview with her.
Yeah, a little interview, and maybe I'm going to show them where I found the books, or maybe some type of thing like that. Maybe
you ought to reach out to Geraldo Rivera to say, here's how you.
No, I can't.
No, I'm just saying, here, you tell him, here's how you find things. Because I remember the whole big Al Capone, big buildup.
Well, there is one book missing. There's one book missing, and I want to see if we can find it.
Oh, maybe Geraldo knows where it's at. We can beam him.
Oh no, I don't want to hear that name.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So Jenny, how are you doing out there? How's we can't call it a Christmas tree, your all year tree.
My holiday tree. It's good. I actually have it turned off today, but I did some other fun lighting projects and put 5 different smart bulbs in a chandelier.
Yeah, I saw some of those pictures on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, both. So I've been having fun with lighting and just sort of trying to nest a little bit in my apartment. Cuddling with cats like I always do.
Yay, I love cats.
Well, if you want to pick up that Trader Brandon's book, that'll help you nest and build a tiki bar really nicely, let me tell you. So Ron, man, how are you doing? Looks like, are you back in, you're not back in the desert, are you?
No, I'm in North Hollywood.
Yeah. So how are you doing there, brother?
I'm doing good. Just tons of computer problems and then Adobe problems. So it's kind of dead in the water for a while, but I think I got them all worked out. So.
Well, the good news is your computer problems aren't so bad that you couldn't join us tonight.
That's true, but the hard drive is making horrible noises.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's never a good thing.
But I got to get a drink of water. Hold on.
All right. Jill, I love that ship behind you. What is that?
Yeah, that is a painting of, I guess, some square rigger ships.
Cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Nice. So how are you doing?
Living the dream.
Hey, I think Ukulenny is, you guys have been on what, 3 times now? And Ukulenny's been on 3 times. There's a bit of I think there's going to be some rivalry there.
Yeah. Not really. No, I'm not into tiki drama.
Yeah, no, I got to agree with you on that. No
I will
tiki.
pass.
No tiki drama.
That's why I'm into tiki. There shouldn't be any drama when you're on an exotic vacation
Right?
and you're in a tiki bar, you know?
Right? That's how it should be. But oh my God, there's drama.
Yeah, I don't go for that at all.
Especially here in Southern
Yeah.
California. I don't know what it is. We've got, I mean, there are how many weekends in a month? There's like four, maybe five in good months. But when we have 2 or 3 tiki events, they all have to be on the same damn Saturday.
Yeah, go
It's like
figure.
it's like picking, are you going to stay at mom's house or dad's house? Like it for the vendors is really hard because it's like you have to pick, and then people get all butt hurt.
Well, hey, let me just tell you, from my standpoint, I had to go to both or all, depending on the day, because I'm doing photos and videos and chatting with everybody. Do you know how hard that is to go and drink at like 2 or 3 events each day?
It's like bar hopping.
I know, it's terrible. Going from Garden Grove to Huntington Beach, now Garden Grove to Long Beach. Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't think the
I did it once.
What's that?
I did it once. I think it was the first time I met Sunshine Tiki. He was hosting some kind of, I don't know, maybe he was recording some of the podcasts there at the marketplace at Don the Beachcombers. And he was giving away a bottle of his spicy rum. So of course, I gave him my ticket and I met him, we chitty chatted. And then I left to go to the original Tiki Marketplace in Orange County. And I ended up winning the contest. So he called me and I'm like, and I was on the air and I'm like, oh my God, I guess I have to turn around. So I turned around. I wanted that spicy rum.
Yeah, I met him at one of the marketplaces. I don't know if it was that same one. That's the first time I met him. And I knew of the Zen Tiki Lounge, but ended up meeting him and he's like, oh, do you want to come on the show? I'm like, yeah. So he interviewed me. We're chit-chatting. And, a few weeks later, I'm driving to Las Vegas for a conference. And I'm listening to Zen Tiki Lounge, the podcast from when they did the marketplace. And they get all the way through through the whole podcast. No mention, no nothing, not anything. Not even we saw this idiot and we're not going to put him on. Nothing. I was like, oh, that really sucks. And then right before they ended, he's like, oh yeah, and we talked to Tiki Trail. And I was like, woo! I'm driving in the car. Woo! Yeah, that was those were the days early on, man.
Yeah, early on. Yeah, I should look up that show. I want to hear it because obviously I wasn't listening to the show because I was at the marketplace. So
I like that show probably the best. That's my favorite tiki podcast that's out there. I mean, you just feel like you're hanging out with a bunch of friends. At least I do. It's like, yep, these would be my friends if this were the case. Yeah.
It's pretty much like you're at a tiki bar with your friends every time you listen to the podcast. Literally.
Yeah.
It's a tiki lounge that lives in your mind.
So
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It is.
Anyways, I gotta go. Bye, everyone.
All righty. Yeah, we're at 8:40. Holy cow, guys. I got to get out of here.
All right.
So I'm glad you all were here. Bob and Deb, how are you guys doing? You doing okay?
Yeah, we're awesome.
We're doing good.
Good.
I got my first shot of vaccine about 10 days ago. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah. So waiting for the second one, but doing okay.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who says he had a nurse friend that got her first shot and then she got COVID. I'm like, well, it's the second shot that makes you immune, not the first shot.
Right. I don't think it's supposed to make you immune. I think it's supposed to make sure you don't get it so bad.
Yeah.
So it's just to bring down the level that you're going to get it. It doesn't actually stop you from getting it. It just makes you better prepared.
Yeah. So I work in a hospital, so
Yeah, you
we're
need
we're
to
high
be
risk.
prepared.
And Perkeo, you don't need to get a shot now, right? You're good for a while.
I guess I'm good for a while, but if they offer it, I'll take it.
Yeah, because they say they don't know how long the immunity lasts from getting it, right?
I've heard everything from 3 months to a year after you've gotten it.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been around long enough to know that.
Right.
Unfortunately.
I will say that the shot did make my arm sore for about a week.
I had a friend that had a high fever the next day, and then it went away.
Yeah, I didn't have a fever, just real sore arm.
A lot of vaccines, I get that sometimes from the flu vaccine. My arm will hurt.
I do too, but not like this. This one was a little intense.
I got my flu vaccine while I was in the hospital with the COVID. But they just put it through my IV.
Oh, wow.
Makes it easier, I guess.
Yeah. So I didn't have any burning at all.
Wow. Now that you mention that, okay, yeah. Good to know. Yeah, I can't get the flu shot, and I don't know if I want to get the COVID shot. I've got to keep doing some more research on it. Because I had a disease thing called Guillain-Barré syndrome that you can't get a flu shot if you've had that. And so now I keep watching to see what's COVID doing with that, because I don't want to go through that again. I have zero desire to go through that again.
Wow.
Yeah. With all vaccines, there's certain people who can't take it. And that's kind of the reason for vaccines, is to protect those people who can't really take it. So
yeah, I just have friends who are like, oh, people who don't get the vaccine, they're assholes, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, wait, wait, not all. Some of us have mitigating circumstances that I want to make sure I can take it before I take it.
Maybe one of the different variants will work for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
there's like 3 or 4 now, right? Like there's a Russian one and an English one and 2 American ones. And
okay, seriously, the Russian one? Do you want to take the Russian one?
It's probably radioactive and you just die.
I'm not doing a Russian one. I don't care. I'll take my.
Well, by the time they got around to us, they had run out of the Pfizer one, so I got the Moderna one.
That was the second one, right? The Moderna?
Yeah.
They caught that guy that was sabotaging them.
Yeah. Because it changes your DNA. Oh my God.
No.
Smoking cigarettes can change your DNA, but not that.
My favorite thing I've seen so far is it said it was like a fake advertisement for Pfizer. It said, you've trusted us with your penis for so long, trust our vaccine.
Well, I mean,
a good strategy.
The good thing is that it's not that dissimilar from other coronaviruses that are going along. So we're at least, they had a lot of it ready. They were already on their way to doing it, but they're saying like someone like me is probably not going to get it until August, September. So.
Okay. When they have 10% of the people that are supposed to be getting the vaccines actually getting them, and they've got 90% sitting around that are going to be going bad by the end of next month. I think they can just go ahead and just release them out to everybody who will get them.
That's what I keep hoping for, that they'll make the announcement. I'll just give her a phone call, say, hey, come up to the hospital, get your shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they going to do like a lottery or something? I mean, I understand the people, healthcare workers and the elderly get it first, but what is it like my social security number, the day you were born, Saturday versus Wednesday?
Dude, it is literally out of the 20 million that were supposed to be distributed by the end of the year, 2 million were. You got 18 million, and supposedly they're going to they're expire by the end of the month.
As Americans, we are so busy fighting ourselves that we can't get shit done. Pardon my French.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, you know, I'm disgusted right now with the politics being locked so you can just sit there and think about politics and everything in your home for a year. I've been unemployed for a year now.
Oh.
Like, so, and you know, my truck broke down, but I don't care. Where am I going to go?
Exactly.
Oh, well, I'll
I tried
walk.
to start my car on Sunday and I haven't driven it, and it's a hybrid, right? I tried to start it. It wouldn't start. The battery was dead that was started the car.
I used to have an old Jeep that was that way, and because it always had some problem or another, it sat a lot, and the battery, especially out in the desert, it was always like, well, I got to try the car again. I got to get a new battery. Like, I should just buy 4.
Right.
Get the multi-pack at Costco.
Raina, I'm seeing a musical instrument there. I probably mutilated the name again. I'm sorry.
Lena.
It's Lena. But yeah, no, you didn't brutalize my name.
I said it right. Woohoo!
Yeah, no, for like a friend of mine's boyfriend, my name was Ellen, and like I just like couldn't like get him to realize that my name was Lena, and
Wow.
so the 3 of us are standing around, and he goes, "Oh, Ellen, da 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 da." My friend turned to him, and she goes, "Lena." Like, what? Her name is Lena. And it was like so funny. She was so like serious, like, you idiot. It was like I was trying really hard not to laugh because I'd already gone through that and I just given up. And then she was like, I can't believe it. Anyway, so
Now, if you
anything's better than that.
If you'd have said your name, that's one thing, but I'm looking at it spelled, so that's.
No,
what,
I know. It's.
So I can't imagine why he would mix up your name to Ellen. And even if he saw it written, that's not Ellen.
Yeah, because I had said my name. He didn't see it written down.
So
I don't know. It was hilarious.
What's the musical instrument you got there?
So I'm playing my ukulele. You probably can't hear it because it's an electric.
Oh, we can hear it.
Yeah, you might be able to. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I use it. Like my kids are on the way to bed, so I play it they don't hear me. You know, because you play at night when the kids go to bed, and so I've got the electric. Because if I have a hollow body, you can hear it all over, like echoing in here. It's like the acoustics in here are either really good or really bad, and depending on what you're trying to do.
That sounded really good, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It was actually Tiny Bubbles. I've been playing Tiny Bubbles the whole time because it seemed really appropriate.
Well, yeah. So
yeah.
how long have you been playing?
I've been playing since June. But I had to take a month off because I almost cut the tip off of my finger slicing bread. And so I was like, well, I need to take a month off. And then I was carrying a glass. We have Grove, and I don't know if you have Grove, but they send you like a glass pitcher for your laundry detergent, because it's like everything's like reusable, and you know, to try and make less waste. And I was carrying it outside, and I slipped because our entrance to our laundry room is outside, and I had to get stitches. You probably can't see it in my finger. A huge gash.
What you're doing?
And so, yeah, I mean, it's actually like, you know, like
yeah,
there or something. So I had to take a month off for playing, and I had to like relearn. When I came back, I was like, oh no, but it was kind of funny. Like, oh, well, I got really good at theory during that time.
Wow.
So
you're gonna come on and play for us as one of our musical guests?
At some point, when I have less stage fright, I will do. Well, because because that's actually how I found you guys, is through Ukulenny.
Okay.
Am I saying that right? Yeah. So, because he had a link, I was like, oh yeah. So I clicked on that, and that's how I found you.
Awesome.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, we're not.
You're not
we're
allowed to go to
nice
tiki bars
crowd.
right now.
We're not harmful. We're not.
Oh no.
Well, Ron, you got to be careful with Ron. Yeah, that's the only one. Other than that, we're all good guys, good people.
Well, you know, there's always a troublemaker.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't be a good group without at least one solid key troublemaker.
Okay, and honestly, we got Jenny too, but that's it. I swear, that's it. Just those two.
Just those two and yourself. So just those three.
Okay.
No more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I can't vouch for Perkeo or Carbon Tiki, so might be closed all the way around. But Bob and Deb, they're good people.
Yeah.
We're a whole different world.
A whole new world. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's I can't play that one for you. Sorry. I don't know my Disney stuff.
Yeah, nor will I sing it. All right. Well, we are almost at 9 o'clock. Holy cow, you guys keep me around for so damn long every week. It's awesome. So great hanging out with everyone. Glad you came on tonight. Don of Tiki, Max, thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Love having you guys on. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Love the chat always. And we'll see you all next week. Hello?